following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC.
The skyline of Charlotte, North Carolina, a city that's grown into a world financial center, glowing as night falls. It's also a city that's grown into the hub of the NASCAR industry. And glowing brightly tonight are the lights of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Race 5 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup is about to unfold. Inside this vast racing stadium, the drivers are gathering to be introduced before they climb aboard and compete. For some, it's a night to make a statement that the title fight is on. For another, it's about continuing a run at history. While for others, this 500 miles is about redemption, keeping championship hopes alive after a trip to California last week that was dark and difficult.
Trouble for Greg Biffle in turn number 3. Looks like the motor has given away.
Now, if you are Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards, what are you thinking? Problems for the 99.
Push it right in the garage.
They came in third and they went out 7th. Had a lug nut issue. Chad Knaus came down off the box, talked to his team.
And Kyle Busch blows a big puff of smoke from Kyle Busch's Toyota.
I knew it was coming.
The engine is starting to sour on Matt Kenseth's car.
Look at this freight train, though, going by. Oh, look out. David Reagan and Kurt Busch. And another chase driver in trouble. Well, one thing we can point out today, 9 chase drivers with issues.
Despite those 9 drivers having problems last Sunday in California, the championship is still close. 4 drivers within 85 points of the lead. But California was a race of pain for many. Look at the numbers on the right. The points gained or lost to the lead. Some guys have a lot of work to do if they're going to win the title. One of those, Carl Edwards, sure has a good starting spot to begin rebuilding his point title. Tonight, Edwards starts second. He's with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Carl, obviously with some folks back here by backstage, and Carl, last week's electrical issues and a 34th place finish dropped you to 7th in the point standings. What is your mindset here tonight in terms of the race and the chase?
Our mindset is simple. We just have to go out with this Aflac Fusion, run the way we know we can, and I feel like we've got a good start on that. We qualified second. We were fastest in happy hour. I feel like I got some good experience last night and just ready to race. And now it's, in a way, the pressure is kind of off. You know, we can just go run these last 6 races, try to gain every point we can, go for broke.
All right, he mentioned it, Alan. Starts on the front row, fastest in happy hour, shaping up to be a very good race for Carl tonight.
Doc, thanks. We'll keep an eye on the 99. Another driver who made a great late rally in California to stay quietly close to the lead in the points. Made some noise here Thursday night in qualifying. Jeff Gordon, after being not too good in practice, blistered this track at 191.5 miles an hour to win the Coors Light Pole Award, his first pole of the season. A win tonight could be huge, Dave Burns.
And Alan, Jeff called that pole run a shock, and so I'm wondering, after 53 laps of practice yesterday, Jeff, for the race tonight, any indicators that the 24 car is going to be a race winner?
Well, I think just like in qualifying, you know, when the sun goes down, the track cools down, our car seems to be really good. So we didn't show a whole lot of strength in practice yesterday, but I don't think the conditions were quite what they're going to be tonight. So I'm excited. You know, it's great to be on the pole. DuPont Chevy, you know, the car is fast, and we know that. We just got to do everything right. We're ready to go after them and get them. And I want to send a shout out to Todd Rose. He works for Hendrick Automotive Group, and he's battling with leukemia right now, and our thoughts and prayers are going out to him. He's a great friend of all of ours.
Our best to Todd. Good luck to you tonight, Jeff. Alan?
Jeff Gordon starting on the pole tonight, sharing a moment with his daughter before being introduced to the crowd. This year's championship run began with billing as the closest ever, and thus far has had 4 different winners in 4 races. Clint Boyer won at New Hampshire to get things going. Then it was the 4-time champ Jimmie Johnson rebounding with a win after a tough New Hampshire. Johnson scoring at Dover's Monster Mile. At Kansas, Greg Biffle looked to get himself back into the title conversation with a victory. And then last Sunday, Tony Stewart scored at California. There are plenty of good candidates to keep that different winners streak going here in Charlotte tonight. Driver introductions are underway on a chilly and, compared to the 90-degree weather this area has had for months, outright cold night for racing. We're pleased our ESPN pit studio has lots of warm lights and sources of hot air inside. Alan Bestwick with 3-time Charlotte winner Rusty Wallace, team owner Brad Daugherty, and 13-time Charlotte winner Ray Evernham. Every race in the chase has seen its share of driver mistakes, ups and downs, the different winners. What are we going to see tonight?
Yeah, number one, we're going to see a really fast race tonight. The speeds here are incredible. It's very cool here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I've talked to all the drivers, and they're telling me their cars are bullet fast, turn a lot of RPMs. But one concern that I've got is the exit of turn 4. We've seen a lot of spins there, a lot of problems. I expect we're going to see that tonight. The other thing is they practice during the day, and they're going to race at night, and things are going to change.
Biffle, Boyer, Johnson, Stewart, these are the guys who have won in the chase. I think tonight we see one of those 4 win their second race of the chase, changing the complexion of the chase.
Okay, those are the things you will see, but what you won't see is the same guy dominating all night long. This track just changes too much. It's too hard to keep up with.
We'll follow that throughout the night as well. It really got a lot of people's attention when Jeff Gordon won the pole here the other night. He hasn't won a race since April of 2009. He's 85 points off the lead in the championship. How important is this night to Gordon, Ray, and what are his chances to win?
Well, it's important to get those guys mentally to believe, to know they can. It's one thing to believe you can, and then to know you can. You know, you want the old Jeff Gordon back, you got him. He was terrible, terrible in practice, sits on the pole. You heard him say tonight, probably not going to be good, come on late. That's the way we used to win here. Survive the first half. If they can get him close and the money stop, he's got a shot to win this thing.
Let's talk about Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch. Kyle is 6th on the grid. We just heard from Carl a minute ago. They've got some ground to make up after troubles. How aggressive can they be? How aggressive will they be?
They have got to be as aggressive they possibly can be. They need to run every single lap like it's a qualifying lap. They just got to go for it. These guys have got to scratch and claw their way back into the game. They can't leave nothing on the table. They got to go for broke. What do you call it, Brad? Hammer down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. These guys will have to go as hard as they possibly can, simply because they want to keep up with the racetrack tonight. They want to keep up with sequencing. You want to be up front. As it gets colder tonight, the grip comes up on this racetrack. If you're going backwards, you're going to get run over. You better be up on the wheel, digging for everything you got.
Be aggressive will be the mode of the night for those guys. Coming up on NASCAR Countdown, it is a tricky track these drivers will take on tonight, made trickier by the cool air, which makes more speed. We'll talk more about it in our What to Watch For segment. But up next, Tony Stewart. What an eventful week. What an eventful month it's been for the 2-time champ. We'll stalk Stewart from coast to coast when NASCAR Countdown continues from Carolina.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on ABC. Brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Back live in Charlotte, Tony Stewart, the 2-time Sprint Cup champ, being introduced to the crowd. Tony started this year's chase with 2 races that weren't what he needed, but Stewart put himself back into championship conversation with a win at California last week, and he's determined to do all he can to win title number 3.
Stewart is out of gas. Unbelievable turn of fortune. Heartbroken in 24th position.
I thought in one day we went from being a contender in the chase to we're going to be one of the early guys giving our speech at the banquet. Leaving there 10th in the points or 11th in the points, wasn't sure that that was going to be a deficit that we could climb out of.
Tony Stewart, he was too fast coming on the pit road.
You got to do it faster, folks. I got it, I'm coming.
We had a bad day with the race car. I had a bad day as a driver with a pit road speeding penalty. Just everything that could go wrong went wrong.
It's not been the kind of day that he has wanted. They may go a lap down and they have to work their way back on the lead lap, but they won't give up.
I just felt like it was wiggling the knife in the wound that was already there from the week before. I thought the championship would be out of reach for sure.
But sometimes the mind can play tricks while the heart stays strong. The trip cross country gave Tony Stewart plenty of time to turn his thoughts of a certain demise into a sense of determination.
Here comes Tony Stewart. He'll cross the stripe in the first spot. His 39th career win.
We got that one, baby, in California, finally. Woo!
The whole ride home, Darian and I and Jeff Mendring, we're all three looking at each other like, hey, we're not out of this thing. We're back in this thing, and we got a shot. Come home late, everybody's tired, but they came in with smiles on their faces and they're ready to go. They're out there working on that Charlotte car right now, working so hard. They want to go out there and continue this winning streak.
A feeling of renewed hope and purpose had spirits soaring for every member of the number 14 car's team. But news of a signed, sealed, and delivered multi-year sponsorship with Mobil 1 took the positive outlook over the top. From a commitment of continued sponsorship comes security, but this was no time for Tony Stewart and company to relax. There were other drivers and teams to beat, and a third championship to be won, and only one quality could assure they'd have a chance to win it.
Focus. That's what we've been preaching with our pit crews, preaching in the shop. Do your job to the best of your ability. Don't be that weak link. With 6 races to go and you have a chance to win a championship, you've got to dot that I and cross that T.
We've already had our mistakes. We can't afford another mistake. But at the same time, we have to have the guys that are in the first 2 or 3 spots have a problem. I don't think we can gain 107 points if they don't have a problem.
But avoiding problems is what brought Jimmie Johnson 4 straight championships.
I mean, until somebody knocks him off the throne, I mean, that's the target, that's the mark, that's what you got to measure yourself against.
Keep on tugging on Superman's cape, and eventually it's going to fall off. So, we just got to put ourselves in position to be there at the end of every race, and just find Jimmie.
This chase is close, and the margin for error is slim. It won't be enough to be good. Tony Stewart will have to be great.
We can't have that top 5 finish. We have to have wins. We have to go harder and faster every single week. Go for broke. I mean, we don't have anything to lose. I mean, I told the guys in our team meeting I would rather drop from 5th back to 10th, at least trying to go from 5th to 1st. We got a shot at this still. I mean, it may not be a great shot, but we have a shot still.
Well, just after being introduced a minute ago, Tony Stewart greeting the living members of the class of 2011 to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, selected this week here in Charlotte. You saw Bobby Allison, Bud Moore, Ned Jarrett, and David Pearson is down there in the mix somewhere as well. There he is. There's the Silver Fox. Nice moment there as the Hall of Famers, soon-to-be Hall of Famers, part of tonight's pre-race introductions. Let's take a minute and compare Tony Stewart's finishes in the chase with that of the current leader, Jimmie Johnson. They finished 1 spot apart at New Hampshire. Johnson has 3 top 3 runs since. Stewart 2 top 4 finishes. So I interpret that as he's running the same pace as Johnson. The Dover speeding penalty right now is the difference between them for the moment. Tony Stewart, tell me why he can and why he can't win this championship.
I'm not going to tell you why he can't, because I don't think that's in his vocabulary. He can win this thing, and the reason he can win this thing is because he's not a quitter. This guy will not quit. I watched him on the racetrack. He's relentless. He's an amazing driver, and I will tell you one thing. If you walk up to Tony Stewart and say, hey, you know what, buddy? I don't think you can win this championship. You know what will happen? You'll get punched. That's what's going to happen. This guy is on the throttle. He wants to ride this momentum. Yeah. Get it done.
I'll tell you why he can is simply because Tony Stewart is the greatest race car driver on the planet. That's just all there is to it. And in any of these races left, he can pick off 1, 2, maybe 3 of these races and put himself right back into the championship. The problem is going to be overcoming Jimmie Johnson and what they do so well. That's incrementally increased their lead from this point on. That is the problem Tony Stewart has.
Well, let me talk about Jimmie Johnson for just a minute. Tony gets his engines, cars, engineering support from Hendrick Motorsports that fields Jimmie Johnson's cars. There's a dynamic there that we've talked about before within the Hendrick team, 24 versus 48. What about 14 versus 24 and 48, Ray? How does that dynamic work?
Well, I can tell you on a top level, I'm sure that there's nobody near as honest as Mr. Hendrick is. When you get a product from him, he wants you to get the same as everybody else. But where it does cause a problem is on the teams, because I can tell you that as Jeff Gordon's crew chief, we were leasing engines to Joe Gibbs Racing, and Bobby Labonte beat us at Michigan, and we ran second. And the next day, I was at Mr. Hendrick's office. I didn't like it. So some of the internal friction could cause a bigger problem than anything.
All right, well, Tony has some work to do tonight. He's starting in 29th position. Now, another thing to look at, bonus points. The points given for leading a lap and leading the most laps in a race. Saw Jimmie Johnson there. Jimmie has earned 15 bonus points for leading laps in the chase so far. Denny Hamlin is the only chaser who's not earned any in the first 4 races. Those 15 points, almost half the distance of the point difference between the two in the overall standings, which stands at 36 now. Rusty, does Hamlin's bunch need to just keep doing what they're doing, or do they need to start getting a little more aggressive about leading laps?
No, they've got to lead laps. They got to get all the bonus points they possibly can, Alan. There's just no doubt in my mind. I'm going to give you a little example. I'm going to go back a little ways with you. 1988, I won 6 races that year, and I really didn't care about bonus points. I just wanted to win. Went back and sat and thought about, so what did I do wrong? How did I screw up? In 1989, I said, I'm going to get every single bonus point I possibly can. And when it was all said and done, I did. I got 160 bonus points. Dale Earnhardt Sr. behind me got 140, and I beat him by only 12 points. It was all the bonus points. That's right.
So you got 20 more bonus points than Earnhardt, and you beat him by 12.
Yeah.
So you're saying Hamlin better get going and start leading some laps.
Get the bonus points. That's how you win these things.
Saw the Hall of Famers down by the stage. The class of 2011 for the NASCAR Hall of Fame, which is located in Uptown Charlotte, selected on Wednesday. They'll be inducted next May. And what a great group it is. How about David Pearson, second all-time in wins?
David Pearson, all-time leader of poles at Charlotte Motor Speedway with 14, had 11 in a row at one time. Made the state of South Carolina proud.
Lee Petty, 3-time champion.
It's great to see Lee Petty, leader of Petty Enterprises, get in there.
Boy, Bobby Allison, one of my favorites. This guy taught me so much when I was an upcoming short track racer. A real innovator, a hard driver, a fantastic man.
How about Bud Moore?
Bud Moore, great to see car owner and mechanic Bud Moore get in. Provided a lot of fast race cars for people like Bobby Allison, Buddy Baker, and Dale Earnhardt.
And Ned Jarrett, the 2-time champ, 50 wins. And beyond his driving, vital in growing the sport in his role as a broadcaster who explained and taught the sport to the masses. Again, the induction ceremony to take place next May. As driver introductions continue, coming up on NASCAR Countdown, men who could make history, one tonight and one of the next 6 weeks go like the last 4 years have. There's the guy who could make history tonight, and there's the guy who could make it if the next 6 go like the last 4 years have. That when NASCAR Countdown continues from Charlotte as we get ready for race 5 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on a chilly evening in the Carolinas. Two elite backs lead their teams on ESPN's Monday Night Football as Chris Johnson and the Tennessee Titans take on AFC South rival Jacksonville, led by Maurice Jones-Drew. Titans Jaguars on ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. NASCAR Countdown from Charlotte, getting ready for race 5 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Look at the crowd on the grid.
What I'm talking about. Let's go racing.
Let's dig into some things to watch for in tonight's race. This track is fast. It can be treacherous, and no one is immune. Watch this in the May race. Jimmie Johnson almost wipes out off the corner. He collects Denny Hamlin, who collects the grass and rips the splitter off his car. Those guys are the top 2 in points. Then the leader of the race at that point on pit road, Kyle Busch, collides with Brad Keselowski and tears his fender up. There's trouble everywhere on this racetrack.
There is trouble everywhere. In one of the corners, turn 4. Take a look at this. There's McMurray on the bottom, Hamlin on the top. They all get, watch this, loose, slipping and sliding. Turn 4, very, very slippery corner. We'll be watching it tonight. The other problem, the entry of turn 1. There's a hump there. Look at Greg Biffle. He bottoms out, sails up the racetrack into the wall. I'm going to be watching that. Also, I'll be watching the exit of turn 2.
Well, one of the bigger problems we have is on restarts. Because of the way the triangle is shaped, as a driver, they're looking up above themselves, trying to look up through the field. Well, that can lead you through the grass, and it makes that inside lane very, very slow because you touch the grass right there. That inside lane going into turn 1 can really get jammed up and backed up and can cause a huge problem trying to get off the corner.
Not a lot of trouble getting to pit road here, but you've got to know what you're going to do when you do get there. Tire strategy always comes into play here. Are you going to do 4 tires, 2 tires, or no tires? Watch Kurt Busch right here takes 2 tires and go on. That is going to happen tonight. Won our first race with Jeff Gordon by taking 2 tires. Right, Rusty?
Hey, I remember that.
And Kurt Busch won the May race here by taking those 2 tires. Now, after all the engines that went boom in last week's race, you can bet the teams are worried about it here, too. For more on that, let's head to our Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer. Tim?
Thanks, Alan. Last week, we worried about RPMs. That destroyed a lot of engine. This week, this area right here, the fuel and the air mixture to the engine. As the night goes on, it's going to get leaner, meaning the air is going to get cooler. You're going to make more horsepower. This area right here, if you're really efficient, you're going to make a lot of horsepower. But when the engine gets too lean, you're going to burn the piston. Guys?
Well, thank you, Tim. Somewhere in that crowd down on the grid, our Vince Welch is with the champ and championship leader.
Jimmie Johnson, he's won 6 times here, certainly the guy to beat. And Jimmie, as we talk and hear from other teams in the crew in the garage, they talk about not letting you put the hammer down on them here tonight. How important is it for your championship hopes to strike a blow on them this evening?
Well, I mean, every race you need to get points, and I think that having a 25th at Loudon is something that we're, just kind of trying to overcome a little bit. So I look back at that race and think, man, we gave up a lot of points. So tonight's an important night. I mean, I think the biggest part of tonight's race is to not take yourself out of it early. So we need to make sure we're around, at the 400-mile mark, and then really go racing at that point.
And Jimmie Johnson, he's certainly been strong the last few weeks, Doc.
When Denny Hamlin was asked earlier in the week why one of the hottest teams in the regular season had not won a race or even led a lap in the chase, he implied they were being conservative and cautious as not to make a mistake. So my question to you, Denny, is at what point do you take the gloves off and just turn it loose?
I mean, realistically, everyone's going to want me to say tonight, but it's going to be with 3 to go. I feel like that's when it's really you're going to have to step up your game and make sure you're part of the championship talks when it comes to Homestead. I've been in these chases, this is my 5th year in it, and every year I've panicked too early in the chase and found myself way behind. And right now we're being quiet, but we're 7 spots in 1 race away from taking over the points lead. So we feel like we can hopefully do that tonight.
He starts 23rd. Jamie?
And Kurt Busch had an exciting happy hour. You had a little contact with the wall. What is the extent of the repairs here?
Everything's been great. Just decided to hit the wall before the race started. We did that in the All-Star race and the 600 and flattened out the right side, but my guys went to work, an awesome group of guys. Nobody put their head down. Everybody jumped in it. It was like an old-school thrash for us to finish off happy hour yesterday. Car finished on the loose side, and that's where we were to win the 600. So the short runs is where we found a lot of speed. We just need to be a little better on the long run. So we'll see how tonight shakes out for us. Looking for a good run with our Miller Lite Dodge in support of Operation Homefront.
All right, Kurt Busch won that 600. He won the All-Star, and he's looking to become the first driver to ever sweep here at Charlotte. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. So how tricky will this track be? Is there a trap waiting off these turns that'll snap closed on a chaser's title hopes? Can Gordon or Edwards get a statement win? Will Kurt get the Charlotte season sweeping? How twisted will the strategy be? So many interesting possibilities and only one way to find out. Watch the race, which happens after this message and a word from our ABC stations. The only night race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the Bank of America 500, coming your way live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. Charlotte area is the home to most all the NASCAR drivers and teams. That means it's a night of family, friends, all those guys at the shop the drivers talk about all the time. They're all here too.
Everybody wants tickets.
They all want to see how it's going to turn out and how this race will play into the story of determining this year's champion. That grid is so crowded, time for them all to pay attention to the opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Air Force Detachment 592 from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte presents our nation's colors. Remain standing as Coach Joe Gibbs offers tonight's invocation.
Let's pray. Father, as we pause, we just want to thank you for letting us enjoy this tonight, an event like this. Most of the people around the world never have an opportunity to enjoy an experience like this. Most of them struggle with enough to eat. We thank you, Father, for just blessing us. We also thank you, Father, for creating a world like this. It's so wonderfully made. Where there's a world where we have the ability to love each other and experience these great things that you put here for us. Where there's a world maker. We thank you for making this world, for creating us, and for making us in a likeness like you, and Father, having a desire to have a personal relationship with us. We thank you for that. We thank you for sending Jesus so we can have that relationship with you. And Father, tonight we pray a special blessing tonight for Jeff Bird. Put him in the palm of your hand and take care of him. Amen.
To honor our troops, Please place your right hand over your heart as Nashville recording artist Danielle Peck performs our national anthem, joined by the children of MRO.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in it, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
What a scene here in Charlotte tonight. Now all those people on the grid have got to get away, get back behind the wall, because it's time for the drivers to buckle in and get ready to go. This quick note: since the chase began, this race has always been won by a championship contender. And there are some good candidates there, but there are an awful lot of guys not in the chase that might show up in victory lane tonight. It'll be fun to see how it all turns out. We get ready for 500 fast miles as the engines fire next.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on ABC, brought to you by Bank of America. NASCAR fans should appreciate the speed of our ATM deposits. No deposit slip, no envelope, quick and easy. And AT&T, rethink possible.
Light. It begins with a spark. From a distance, it can lead you back to a chase where victory remains uncertain.
California, finally! Woo!
He's going to be a contender.
But it can also prove unforgiving.
Whoa, trouble for Biffle. A big plume of smoke.
Garage.
Problems for the 99. Carl Edwards. Kyle Busch. Another engine.
With dreams fading into darkness.
If anybody wasn't sure that the championship was over, it's certainly over now.
And as NASCAR returns home, the spotlight burns brighter for one.
First show, guys. Hell yeah.
But a movement is rising to steal it.
We're back in this thing. This is our time right here to make it happen.
They must find a weakness and illuminate it. To run this champion down under the lights.
We're going to come and get it. We're going to take it from them.
There will be plenty of sparks flying as the racing spotlight shines on the only night race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the Bank of America 500 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 4 drivers within 85 points of the lead, a 5th lurking just behind the championship, a big part of the story of this 500 miles that promised to be fast and full of strategy on a chilly Carolina night. Something that stands out to me about this race, it's really hard to figure out what to expect. I know I use the phrase twist to plot a lot, but these Charlotte races have really had some twists in them. This chase has had a lot of twists in it. We will see what happens tonight as the race unfolds beginning just moments from now. The drivers are buckled aboard. The grid has been cleared. We go trackside now to the dignitaries gathered to get the command and begin the race.
Race fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome your co-grand marshals, Bud Moore, Ned Jarrett, Bobby Allison, David Pearson, Richie Petty, Timmy Petty, and Mark Petty.
Gentlemen, start your engine! All right, boss man, fire in the hole. Crank it up, crank it up. I'm still happy. DK.
All right, the engines are fired. The cars will sit and warm for just a moment or two before rolling out for the pace laps to start. Upstairs, our three men in the booth have finished their warm-ups, and they're ready to go. Here are Marty Reed, champion crew chief Andy Petrie, and the man who hasn't stopped smiling yet since his dad was voted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame on Wednesday, five-time Charlotte winner Dale Jarrett. Gentlemen, have fun.
We will, and thank you, Alan. Hello again, everybody. Tonight, fifth race, halfway point of the chase, and we're going to realize finally who the contenders and who the pretenders are going to be. And what's been interesting, we've had a discussion pretty much all afternoon. Where do we draw the line? Who has to gamble on pit stops especially? 2 tires, no tires. And I can't get these two to agree on where that line should be drawn. Let's take it away and show them.
Well, I think everybody below Tony Stewart really has to roll the dice and do everything they can, and they're not going to have a better opportunity in this chase than tonight because this racetrack has a lot of grip. The tire stays really good all through the run, so you either go with no tires, 2 tires, or 4 tires. So you're going to see a lot of that tonight, and you're going to see a mix-up of strategy with people staying out and people pitting. So I think it's time for all of the guys down there below Tony Stewart to really start taking some gambles, big gambles tonight. But now Tony Stewart, I think he and the rest of the guys ahead of him can race their way back in this. Tony Stewart especially, I think if he just races relatively conservatively, if I'm his crew chief, that's what I'm going to do. I think he can actually really go toe-to-toe with Jimmie Johnson.
I'll agree with you with a lot of that. Yeah, from Kurt Busch on down, I think those guys have to take some gambles. Tony Stewart, I believe, they set their schedule right from the very beginning of this chase in New Hampshire when they said we're going to gamble on fuel. They're going to have to continue to do some gambling. I don't think you can just plan on outrunning Jimmie Johnson for 6 straight races and gaining 20 points a race. You better get your things going and take some chances along the way. I think Tony and his team are ready to do that. Should be fun to watch, though.
Well, I've got a great idea. Why don't we talk to the man that we're talking about, because Tony Stewart's our in-race reporter. Let's do it, DJ.
Hey, Tony, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Yeah, bud.
Hey, Smoke, our first question comes from our mailbag, and Jessica in Gunnersville, Alabama asks, with 6 races left in the chase, what are the challenges in keeping your team focused on each individual race rather than looking down the road at the bigger picture?
That's easy. I mean, that's what we do best, I feel like, as an organization. These guys are really good at, keeping the task at hand, and we've always from day one said that we got our eye on the prize. I mean, we know what we're going for at the end of the season, but you know that you got to do it one race at a time and literally one day at a time on the weekends. So, Thursday when we got here, we focused on qualifying and doing the best job we could do there, and we got through that and focused yesterday on this race setup, and you just literally have to take it one day at a time and focus on that.
Hey, Smoke, we saw you take a car last week that wasn't the best in happy hour. You and Darian made some changes to it, took it to victory lane then. How did things go in your happy hour yesterday, and have changes been made to get ready for tonight?
They have. I mean, we had a really good day yesterday. I was probably most excited about it just from the standpoint that we may not have been the fastest car on the track, but every time that we made an adjustment there, we kept feeling the change with the car, and this car has really responded well to change. So we sat with Darian last night after happy hour was over and felt like that we had a good package. So feel like that we made the adjustments of what we liked on the front end and the rear end throughout the day, and we'll look forward from it tonight.
All right, man, thanks for talking with us. You have a great night. We'll come back and talk to you later on. Now Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Darian Grubb.
Bud.
Hey, Darian Grubb, Andy Petrie in the booth. You have us?
I got you, Andy.
Hey, Darian, we've been talking up here in the booth about strategy tonight. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for that. Which side of this are you going to come down on? Are you going to be aggressive when it comes to strategy or more conservative?
I think the words to say will be cautiously aggressive. It's one of those things we're starting 29th. We know we got a lot of track position to make up, but we think we got a really good long-run car, like Tony said, and we got 100 more miles than we did last week. Came from 22nd, so I think we can get those 7 spots in 100 laps.
Okay, Darian, sound like you came down right in the middle. Good luck tonight.
Well, that's the way we like to play it. We're going to have some fun.
Maybe he's got a career in politics. Who knows? All right, Randy Rodriguez is going to be our over-the-wall reporter. He's the gas man for number 7 car of Robbie Gordon. You be safe down there, Randy. Have a great night. Stay with us. We come back. We're going green. Beautiful sight of 43 race cars under the lights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as we're about to go green. We'll show you the starting grid across the top of the screen. We'll also point out several cars did not make the field, including Joe Nemechek, Casey Mears, Mike Bliss, Jason Leffler, Kevin Conway, and Johnny Sauter. No cars will be going to the rear, so that means we got time to get on down to pit road and get the final reports. And Doc, you want to talk about somebody on the rebound?
Absolutely, Marty. You know, last week at California, Carl Edwards was hoping to make a run toward the top of the point standings, but a failure of a $10 part, a rotor on top of the distributor, instead sent them running to the garage area for repairs. Now, Carl would finish 34th and now sits 7th in the point standings. He also knows he needs top 5 finishes, and he told me, I need at least 2 wins down the stretch. So look for Carl to turn it loose here tonight. Dave Burns.
4th in the chase. Is this a night where 4-time champ Jeff Gordon makes his run on the 2010 championship? Well, I'd say there's a good chance between Charlotte, next week at Martinsville, and the week after that at Talladega. 18 career wins, over 34,000 laps led for Jeff Gordon. He could sure use some laps led tonight. He starts on the pole and is going to try to lead that first lap to get 5 bonus points right away. Jamie Little?
Jimmie Johnson's crew chief Chad Canals told me this morning one of their biggest disappointments this year came at this very racetrack back in May. Jimmie spun all by himself, and of course they have been trying to get back ever since. Now they brought a brand new race car this weekend, but they've been less than stellar. This 48 team is hoping that 6 wins and a lot of experience get them back to victory lane. Vince Welch?
Kevin Harvick's crew chief Gil Martin says this is a pivotal race in their Chase championship hopes. Statistically, this is not one of Kevin Harvick's best tracks. In fact, his average finish of 20.7 is the worst of all chasers. But their mile-and-a-half program has been on the rise, and Harvick was happy with his car in the final practice. Marty, he starts 24th tonight, but don't expect Harvick to stay back there for long.
All right, Vince, thank you very much. You know, our broadcast is available in Spanish tonight by activating your SAP button, presented by ESPN Deportes. As we get ready to go green, turn 2, turn 4 last night.
Yeah, a lot of action. I think we'll see the same tonight. These cars have even less downforce than those did last night. These guys are going to have their hands full, so we'll watch those 2 corners.
Had a couple of pit road speeding violations, 45 the limit. You're on board right now. As we said it for you, Jeff Gordon has decided to start on the outside as they come down towards the green flag. Everybody on their feet here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And the 5th chase in the race for the Sprint Cup is green. Great start for Gordon as he fires out of the gun. This looks like the lap he had on qualifying.
Yeah, if he was going to get a jump like that, it didn't matter where he started, which side he chose.
Carl Edwards 2nd, Mark Martin in 3rd, Kyle Busch on the high side. That's Allmendinger down low. Lap 1 in the books. Paul Menard trying to go on the high side of the 43. Maybe split the difference with the 18. Now he falls in behind.
It'll be interesting as we watch this night to see the different lanes that these guys chose. We saw a lot more racing up in the middle, top part of the groove. Last night, those cars had a lot of horsepower trouble down.
Already in the wall. It's Ryan Newman. Can everybody get away from him? Look out. That was close.
That was Denny Hamlin that just missed him there at the end.
So Ryan Newman, who has had 7 straight finishes in the top 11, 6 of those in the top 10.
Come on.
Here on lap number 2 has trouble.
I expected him to really run good tonight.
Jimmy, let's keep us up to speed with a pace car here.
That's too bad.
A lot of damage on that right rear quarter panel. Let's go back and show you what happened.
So you can go in on the high side of Jimmie Johnson right here. Oh, that car just gets loose right from the beginning, getting in turn 3. A lot of good driving by Jeff Burton and some others there, and Denny Hamlin sliding the tires. He'll probably have to come pit. Denny Hamlin will.
Different angle here. Watch Rudeman.
Yep.
Nice move.
Jeff Burton here, base of action. Watch Hamlin come in here sliding the tires if we get that far. They see him rolling through there. The tires were turning that time, but it did look like I saw some smoke come from the tires on Denny Hamlin.
On board from Joey Logano.
Clear, whatever you need. Half back.
See Newman just very aggressive getting in the corner on the outside, and the track's really not ready for that right now.
Behind you, caution's out.
Takes a few laps to kind of get it cleaned off. Well, David Rudiman did a good job to miss him too. Yeah, definitely slide.
Yeah.
You can see Denny Hamlin sliding those tires. He needs to come in. He is on pit road.
So Denny Hamlin comes in, so does several others. As we go to commercial break, stay with us. We'll get back to Green Flag Racing after this message and a word from our ABC station.
There you go. Good job.
Under our first caution here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte, and you can see the reason for that caution. 39 of Ryan Newman, and they are still trying to do damage control. He's trying to stay on the lead lap. He's been in the pits twice. Here's what happened.
Yeah, you can see Newman gets loose. He's trying to roll into the corner pretty fast. Just a little too much speed right now for the tires and conditions of the track. He spins. At the very back here, we'll see some others come in here. Denny Hamlin has to lock his up. Tony Stewart actually got some right rear damage.
And he got contact, from behind by David Gilliland.
We also had the 11 come in for tires. Let's listen to their radio.
Lock them up at all? I don't know. I did not see any smoke. I was on them hard. I don't think I did. They had it on TV. It looks like they were.
Well, Mike Ford, the crew chief for Denny Hamlin, didn't want to take any chances considering how special this race is in terms of what they're going to do for the chase. So he brought him down pit road, went ahead and put 4 fresh Goodyears on his car. Now, as for Tony Stewart, he has been on pit road twice. It wrinkled up that right rear quarter panel. That is a critical part of the car aerodynamically. They brought him in. He is now in for the 3rd time. They are trying to work a patch over that right rear where he got hit from behind. And Andy Petrie, you can comment, this is a very important part of the race car in terms of downforce and getting the car to turn in the middle of the corner here at Charlotte.
Yeah, Doc, that is probably the most critical part of that car aero-wise, and it's really the side force that they rely on more than anything, and it comes from that part right there, that rear part of the right rear quarter panel.
Yeah, and they could even make a piece here. They've put a piece on there. It may even make it a little better, stick out a little bit more.
I would have one ready in the pits to put on there that might enhance that area if I had, just in case,
Okay, now this happened far behind the initial contact with Newman. Keep a look at the top of your screen. Watch for David Gilliland. Tony checks up, and right there, he just nicks him.
It looked like Tony may have even hit somebody right in front of him, too. It looked like maybe Regan Smith.
Well, there's just a lot happening there. You don't know where that car's going, and everybody's trying to. There's not a lot of room. This racetrack looks wide, but there's not a lot of area, especially as you get 2, 3, and sometimes 4 wide.
Okay, we can tell you Ryan Newman is shown as 1 lap down right now. Tony Stewart is in 41st position, trying to catch up to the field. Brad Keselowski also made a pit stop during this caution. Let's get a quick update from the Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim Brewer, what do you have?
This is one of the most critical areas, this quarter panel area right here, because when you turn off in the corner, the wider you can have this area in here, it makes the car more stable getting in there. It acts as a buffer. Andy's really right on his money as far as the area right here. You want this as sharp as possible to break the air off, make the car run faster. But this, very critical area on the race cars. Guys?
All right, thanks, Tim. And we can now tell you that Ryan Newman is behind the wall. They will continue damage control on that machine. So let's reset it for you as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. It'll be Jeff Gordon again on the high side. Then it's Carl Edwards, Mark Martin, Kyle Busch, A.J. Allmendinger, Paul Menard. That's your top 6 with Dale Earnhardt Jr., Reed Sorensen, Elliott Sadler, and Joey Logano, your top 10. You're saying, where is the points leader, Jimmie Johnson? He'll restart in 11th. Pace car pulls down. Fans on their feet again here at Charlotte Motor Speedway on a cool fall evening as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here on lap number 7.
You better watch Kyle Busch. He's second on that high side. He might take the lead before they get off of turn 2 here.
Boy, what a great restart for the 24. Here comes Kyle.
Well, he does. Look at the run he gets off turn 2.
Could be 3 wide going down the backstretch. Gordon's the meat in the sandwich, and he's going to lose 2 spots. Kyle Busch is shooting for the lead. On the low side, here comes Carl. Gordon's trying to get back into the mix.
How'd you know that was going to happen, Dale?
Well, I'm not sure he even led that lap. We'll see there. Yeah, he just barely did, but he's just phenomenal on these restarts. He loves that high line. When he got lined up there, you had to know that there was a chance.
Kyle did lead the lap. He is our second leader. Right behind Jeff Gordon, you can see the 98 of Paul Menard, Mark Martin, A.J. Allmendinger, Reed Sorensen. They're all on that freight train.
Kyle Busch worked that high line last night in the nationwide race a lot, led a lot of that, so he knows, knew exactly coming in what that could do for it. You see Jimmie Johnson in a position he really doesn't want to be right now.
He was 3 wide for a moment. He's got Marcus Ambrose underneath him. Marcus pulling away. Here comes Kurt Busch in the Blue Deuce.
You know, he wasn't very good in practice. Jimmie wasn't. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't very good. And looks like he may have to make some adjustments tonight.
Battle for second place.
Tried to run wide open there. They're going to lose.
Yeah, he knew he had to run wide open. He was going to race Kyle Busch.
That's
around.
right, yeah. And that's the kind of things it'll make you do.
And as we come to the top of the hour, if you're just switching over, we're early in our race. We've completed a total of 10 laps of the scheduled 334 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the 5th race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Our race leader right now is Kyle Busch, and you see the 21 of Bill Elliott. He is slow in turn 3.
Look at Paul Menard. His car really hooked around the bottom, that 98 car. Looks like he's going to get by Carl Edwards.
So move Menard up into the 3rd spot. Mark Martin closing now on Carl.
Menard's another that gained some knowledge last night. He had a fast race car in a nationwide race, got some debris on the grill and ended up costing him a good finish because it blew up the engine, but has a fast race car again tonight. See Kevin Harvick working the bottom side there.
3 of the top 4 were doing double duty last night in that nationwide race. Only Jeff Gordon did not run. On board with A.J. Allmendinger, Mark right in front of him.
You can hear him working the throttle already a little bit. You have to do that, then you've got some problems. You're going to have to work on your race car.
Boy, and Reed Sorensen goes flying by him on the high side. So here comes A.J. back, though, as they go through the corner. Joey Logano right behind, looking for an opening.
I think after they clean that top groove off a little more, you're going to see a lot of cars up there. Here comes Joey Logano on the inside.
Joey Logano now looking underneath the 43. Can he make it stick and clear him? It's got him. So Joey makes a nice pass down low, takes over the spot, move him into the 7th position. Let's get an update on the 39 back in the garage area. Vince?
Well, and it's not good, Marty. Ryan Newman, a driver who has finished in the top 10 in all of the chase races this season. Even though he's not in the chase, he has had a terrific run over the course of the last 4 races. But this first lap incident, they've cut off the right rear quarter panel, significant damage in the right rear and the rear suspension. And he might get back out there this evening. Still got the window net up, but they are going to be a long way back by the time they do.
All right, thanks for the update, Vince. And a tough break for Ryan Newman as he has been on a streak, as we mentioned, the last 7 races, 6 of them in the top 10. Now there's Tony Stewart, and we can tell you Tony has moved up to 32nd on the racetrack. And Denny Hamlin right in front of him there, now up to the 30th position. Tony taking a look underneath the 26, and he makes Patrick Carpentier almost got him cleared. Now he does. Let's go back up front because Kyle Busch has now opened up a 1.7-second lead. Paul Menard is running there in 2nd. In 3rd place, Jeff Gordon, then Carl Edwards and Mark Martin round out your top 5. So there's your top 5 after 15 of 334 at the Bank of America 500 here at Charlotte. Make sure to go to Goodyear.com to check out Goodyear Support Our Troops program. There you can send a thank you message from a NASCAR driver, enter for a chance to win a 2011 Ford Taurus and other great prizes. Up front, Kyle Busch leads by 1.8 seconds. You're on board with Jimmie Johnson. He has just gotten around Kyle Busch. They had been duking it out for the last few laps, and that means Jimmie's now up to the 14th position. Let's get an update. Jamie Little.
Well, he started 10th and he just slipped back a bit. His car was just not handling well, but all of a sudden things are looking up. This was his radio.
I'm starting to get my confidence back here. 10-4. Work them fans and brakes, anything you need.
You hear him say that he's getting his confidence back because practice was not good. They actually said it was a heartache. They made so many changes on this race car, ended up going back just the way they unloaded. So they weren't sure what they had, Marty.
Trouble, turn 4.
Yeah, we've got a spin up in 4, and it's Kurt Busch. The man who's trying to make history with the sweep. Look out. Jamie McMurray just gets by.
Like he's lucky enough not to make contact. See any damage.
He scraped the wall yesterday. And he will come down pit road.
Coming to you on pit road.
He come on down.
Yeah, we heard Jimmie Johnson say that. He was racing Kurt real hard earlier, and that's when he said that comment about confidence. And I think what he's saying is he really didn't have quite the confidence in his car that he needed. And looks like Kurt Busch didn't either.
Keep going. Yeah, he was going to lose a lap. Yeah, he was going to lose a lap there because the leaders are on the front straightaway here.
And he's got to be careful that he didn't speed going back out. And you can see how close this was to going down a lap, because there's race leader Kyle Busch. Let's go back and show you what happened. Now watch Jeff Burton, because he goes around Kurt.
Well, this looks just about like Ryan Newman when he got in there a little hot, got loose. Boy, he looks like he may have barely touched that wall.
Yeah, these guys look like they're trying to carry a little too much speed into the corner. Normally when you run that high groove, you back out a little sooner, then you pick up the throttle and drive it around. Watch these guys do a great job. Jamie McMurray's not sure where to go right here. He can't go low because Biffle's there.
And he just misses him. So great evasive driving by Jamie. And you know, we mentioned the sweep. He won the 2 races.
See, Kurt Busch now, he's flying down pit road. I guess he's just go ahead and take a penalty here and try to get these tires changed before these leaders come down.
Yeah, that's definitely faster than 45.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, we're talking about the sweep, the 6 drivers that have had the opportunity but missed. Darrell Waltrip, Davey Allison, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Jeff Gordon, Jimmie Johnson, Casey Kane. An elite group. And here comes everybody else down pit road. So first round of pit stops, we talked about the strategies. Let's find out what happens, Vince.
Paul Menard comes in running second, says the car's just a little bit too tight, so they want to free it up. They're going to make a track bar adjustment and 2 tires with Sunoco fuel. Jamie.
And Mark Martin started out well, but after 26 laps, it needs to turn better. Got a little tight right sides only, Doc.
Carl Edwards said he led a lap halfway. Whoa, almost contact. Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart, they just miss each other. And now Tony has to back up to get in his pits because he had slid by. Finally, Tony gets in. Boy, almost a 3-car accident on pit road as they race off. Marty.
Unbelievable for Tony Stewart. What else can go wrong for him here tonight? You can see Paul Menard loses 3. Dave Blaney takes no tires and picks up 22. We'll check on that.
There's so much going on in the pits, you couldn't keep up with it. All these cars taking 2 tires. See Tony Stewart trying to get in his pit while Carl's pulling out.
And he had to back up.
It was pretty scary too. He was backing up and there were cars coming 3 and 4 wide.
He had pulled back up to 28th position. We'll find out, sort out where he is when we come back. Under our second caution here at the Bank of America 500 after 27 laps, the free pass will go to Landon Castle. Of course, Kurt Busch's spin is the reason why we are under this caution. And another pit road incident. We saw the one with Tony. Here's what happened with the 98 of Paul Menard.
He comes in second. You see a lot of cars still coming down pit road, trying to get in their stall. And there comes Keselowski. Just about a bad situation for both of them.
Now you'll notice Michael McDowell is shown as the race leader. He stayed out. Jeff Gordon will be alongside, and here's the comparison.
Well, you see Jeff Gordon's crew, same time as Kyle Busch's crew, but the total time is a little bit less. That's probably because Jeff Gordon has that #1 pit stall by getting the pole position. Paid off for him right there.
Pace car pulls off, so it's McDowell, Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Mark Martin, Paul Menard. That is your top 6 as the green flag is back out. We're racing again here at Charlotte. And McDowell is going to get run over.
Kyle Busch did a nice job of waiting left to the start-finish line. Wow, look at him take off again. Unbelievable.
Rocket man.
I mean, he's gone off turn 2.
In all deference to Ryan Newman, Kyle is just flying right now.
See Paul Menard making his way back up there quickly. He's already back up to 3rd.
Goes around Jeff, and Jeff's now under attack from Martin Truex Jr. And you notice McDowell's trying to hang on, but he's got Carl Edwards all over him and Mark Martin. Plus Elliott Sadler wants in on that. First mention of Kevin Harvick tonight. You see him alongside of David Rudiman.
Yeah, just behind them you saw the 11 of Denny Hamlin. He's made a nice rebound already to get himself up into the 14th spot.
Jeff Burton also in the mix right there. Juan Pablo Montoya right behind Jeff. On the high side, Greg Biffle alongside of Denny Hamlin.
Greg Biffle had one of the best cars in practice, but he started way back.
Yeah, what the 42 of Montoya there on that first run, he was really coming. He's utilizing the bottom right now. About 5 laps, he's going to be right up against the wall. He was making a lot of time before that caution.
And you're saying, where's Jimmie Johnson? Look further back right now, folks. They took 4 tires. He's worked his way back up to 21st position. There he is.
Now, those kind of calls right there can get you in trouble if you're not careful, because you got a lot of cars to get by.
But that goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the broadcast. They can afford to be a little conservative, right?
Yeah, that's almost too conservative, though. They hadn't run that many laps. 2 tires was really the call right there. Saw a lot of cars do that. Jimmie was one of the first cars that took 4, so we'll see what it does for him.
We'll see Casey Kane's car step out on him right there. He made a nice save of it, but another car getting a little loose on that high side.
Well, let's listen in on the 48 radio.
There's no sense in us taking 2 there, Jimmy, because we're just going to be a sitting duck for all these guys coming behind us, you know. If you could take 2 tires and get track position, it'll help you. We weren't going to get any track position.
Well, I mean, he was already back there. I think that's what you hear Chad saying, that didn't feel like they were going to leapfrog anybody because so many of them were going to take 2.
It's Bobby Labonte in the 10 right in front of him. Jamie McMurray on the high side. Sam Hornish behind him. Here goes these 2 again, side by side. Greg Biffle and Denny Hamlin. And Biffle gets past him.
See Biffle working that high side right from the very beginning of this run after the green flag was shown again.
Then he comes back on the low side, but Biffle carries the momentum out of the corner.
Yeah, he did that all day in practice yesterday. He was working that top side. And early in this race, it didn't work for him too well. We saw him in a couple of cars get in trouble trying to run up high, but he's starting to work it in now.
Oof, awfully close to the wall.
Risky up there.
Now in more trouble, and it's Jimmie Johnson. The points leader is around. Is there damage?
It's just what I was talking about. You find yourself back there in 20.
Nope, I got right front flat. 10-4, come straight to pit road. Watch your fender, take it easy.
He's got a left rear flat as well.
Just a hornet's nest back there, you know. You got a lot of cars back there. They're just scratching and clawing for every position.
We were talking that they do this more often than not. They just don't seem to want to put 2 tires on that race car a lot. They put Jimmie back in very difficult positions. They run their car extremely loose anyway. That's the way Jimmie likes it and can drive it. But when you get in traffic, it makes it a handful.
All right, let's go back and see what happened to the 48.
He just got loose.
Yep. Boy, very lucky not to get hit. See that right front blow out right there.
That was Brett Keselowski that almost got into him. Let's go on board with Jimmie and just listen.
Coming. Hold the brakes, bud. Hit anything?
That little pop you heard was when the tire let go from sliding along the asphalt. So he's got his tires and back out onto the track. And we'll get another view from Tony Stewart's viewpoint as we head to commercial break. And this message and a word from our ABC stations.
I'm Reese Davis, keeping your finger on the ESPN Primetime Pulse. On ESPN, could it be for the 2nd straight week, #1 could go down on the road? Wisconsin is hammering Ohio State 21-3. And on ESPNU, Dan Mullen and Mississippi State up on Florida, trying to give the Gators their 3rd straight loss.
Our 3rd caution caused by the spin of Jimmie Johnson, our points leader. He's going to restart in 37th position. Up front, it's Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Menard, Gordon. Here we go.
Yep, 3 wide already.
Oh, Truex on the inside. Menard's the meat. Jeff Burton sliding back a little bit. Logano and Gordon side by side. Here comes Truex trying to sneak underneath the 29 of Harvick. From above, you get a great perspective. Carl Edwards trying to catch up to that group. Juan Pablo Montoya right behind the 99, now alongside him. As they go down the backstretch. Let's update you on why Jimmie is now back in 37th. When they came in, they actually, the first stop, guys, they only changed 2 tires.
Yeah, they could have gotten 4. They were trying to stay on the lead lap. They only changed right side tires, went back out, and he had a left rear flap still, so they had to go slow. They made it back around and got it changed, but starting at the back.
He's on the right side of your screen in 35th position right now.
He got about 3 or 4 bullets there. There's the 2 guys that have spun, the 2 and the 48 so far.
Now move him up to 35th according to NASCAR, or 33rd, I should say.
You're right, Montoya's up there, Dale.
Yeah, he's up racing on that high line again already.
There's Kurt Busch also in this mix as he's trying to fight his way back from a spin. Dale Jr. side by side as we go 3 wide. Let's get an update from pit road on what actually happened to the 48.
Well, Marty, he was so loose. Obviously, he spun, flat spotted the tires. They came in that first stop, took off the right sides only, went back out, came in, had a left rear flat. You see it there on the right side of your screen. Flat spotted, cut tire. They put left sides on and adjusted the track bar, went down because he is so loose. Remember, Marty, that's exactly what happened here in May. He spun all by himself, finished 37th.
Well, he only has 4 chase finishes worse than 15th in the last 44 chase races. And right now, he's got a long road to go. 31st is where he's at. Checking in on Jeff Burton. Right behind him, Carl Edwards, Juan Pablo Montoya.
Yeah, Burton got hit 31 machine on the move. See, he's right on the bottom of the racetrack.
Here comes Denny Hamlin. Let's go on board. Let's check him out. That's for 10th. Remember, Hamlin started this race back in the 23rd position, and in the pre-race on countdown, he said he wasn't going to panic.
He saw a lot of trash right there on that last shot. We saw some of the cars last night in the nationwide race get that trash on the grill and cause some problems, so we'll be watching for that.
Edwards on the high side, Montoya down low. Here comes Hamlin. Hamlin's closing the gap on both these cars.
Yeah, Denny's done a nice job since they had to come in early after he probably flat spotted the tires trying to avoid the spinning car of Ryan Newman. But they've rebounded. They got 2 tires. Looks like everything's going their way, Doc.
You're exactly right, DJ. And tonight's the night that Mike Ford said, I think my driver is finally going to step up and drive like he's been driving in a regular season and turn it loose. He asked Denny a moment ago, how's the car? Denny said, it's good. It's going to be great. I'm just being very, very conservative right now. How about that for conservative?
He's running. I got those 6 wins, and that's the reference that Doc was making to during the regular season. And right now, Denny trying to track down the 99 of Carl Edwards. Let's move a little bit further back. A battle for 16th. There's Jamie McMurray, Elliott Sadler. Here comes Reed Sorensen, A.J. Allmendinger, Matt Kenseth. And on the high side on the left, almost in the wall, is Greg Biffle.
Man.
That got
guys are racing hard. They did tell him it's 500 miles tonight, I think, right?
Biffle still running that high line. While I've got a quick moment, let me update you. Bill Elliott's back on the track, 26 laps down. Yaley is back out, 7 down. Landon Castle, McDowell, 6 laps down. Mark Green, 2 laps down in 38th position. And of course, the only car out of the race behind the wall getting repairs right now is Ryan Newman. That gets you updated. Here goes Denny Hamlin. And he's got a bead on the 42.
Yeah, Montoya's making that high line work pretty good, though. He ran up to Carl Edwards, and Carl was running that, too, and wasn't able to make the pass on him, but he's carrying a lot of speed off of these corners and down the straightaway.
Jamie, you've got more on Juan Pablo?
Yes, he is carrying a lot of speed. The car is good right now as he runs up high. However, same story as last night, guys. He has trash on the grill. It's hard to see it there, but he's saying that the temperatures are peaking. They're kind of all over the place right now. He's just looking for somebody to get behind and get that trash off. Hearing a lot of drivers reporting trash on the track.
Yeah, I saw that, Jamie. We saw a shot there on the front straightaway, and it was just a ton of like hot dog wrappers and things, and we saw that be a problem last night. So it looks like Montoya might be one of the first victims.
Well, Denny Hamlin would volunteer to let him get behind him.
Yeah. Just let me pass you.
Yeah, there he goes.
Okay, we're proud of that.
He can tuck up underneath. Maybe he gets rid of all that trash. So move Denny up as he finally gets the job done. Put him into the top 10.
Yeah, I spoke with Denny the other night, and we were talking about that the cars so far in the chase haven't been quite as good as he wanted. He said, and he just wasn't ready to press the issue until they got the cars good enough to try to win. I think that they found something in last night's practice right at the end that he feels like now he has a car capable of winning this race.
Let's go on board with David Rudiman because he's got the 42 in his gun sights right now. It calms down a little bit. Let's go back up front because Kyle Busch's lead, 1.9 seconds over Jeff Gordon. Joey Logano is third, Mark Martin fourth, Kevin Harvick is fifth. Here at the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte.
Not even 100 miles into tonight's Bank of America 500 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and it's been an interesting night already. Tony Stewart nicked up in an early incident. Kurt Busch has gone for a spin, and the most headline-grabbing one of the night so far, championship leader Jimmie Johnson going for a turn off of turn number 2. His crew making repairs to the car, but it has set Jimmie way back in traffic. From the pit studio, Alan Bestwick with Rusty Wallace, Brad Doherty, and Ray Evernham watching Jimmie try to rally up to now 28th position from where he took the restart a few minutes ago back in 37th. Jimmie, reporting on the condition of his car, said this.
Trying to get by these guys with the smart test. Let's try to leg it now. What you got going on with your car, man? Evil in traffic.
Evil in traffic, he said.
Oh, been there, done that. Yeah, these cars are very, very loose right now. You saw Johnson spin. You saw some other problems with Kurt Busch. The very, very cool track conditions tonight. It's hard getting heat in the tires. Saw a couple big spins early. They got to be careful in the early part of this race, guys.
All right, so let's put a championship perspective on this with Jimmie Johnson back in the pack. Denny Hamlin now chipping his way forward after he had early troubles. He's up to 9th position. Those points are getting a little interesting.
It's still too early. I really believe that, there's 270 some odd laps left. Jimmie Johnson and Chad Canals will get their act together by the end of this race and be in contention. As long as they don't have any physical damage to their race car, they're always a threat to get back in it. You just watch.
So continuing to chip away with, as Brad said, a lot of laps to go. Kyle Busch out in front of this race, looking good, Ray.
Oh yeah, these guys are definitely watching our pre-race show because we said they got to get out there, they got to lead laps, they got to win the race. Right. He's doing that, and this is the way that he's going to chip back at that point lead. When these guys start to have some trouble, he's doing what he needs to do.
So Kyle Busch, one of 5 drivers who have traded the lead 5 times tonight. Dave, got some more on the 18 car?
Alan, did you guys mention also that it'd be okay if he kept all the drama away from him?
Yeah, he'd like that, wouldn't he?
That might be really fast. Well, you know what? They've been really smart about this race so far. On the first run, Kyle said, you know what? It's a little bit free, but the second run here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway is always a little bit freer. If we put on 2 tires, we'll tighten the car up just a little bit, and it should balance out. He radioed back to his crew about 20 laps in. We did the right thing. It's just a tick free, but we're keeping up with it.
And as we said on Countdown, that's the story of the night, keeping up with the racetrack.
Right, this track is tricky, and you do have to adjust when you put 2 tires on because those pressures aren't matching. If they do that all night long, keep making those changes, they'll stay out front.
Yeah, you got to remember one thing, guys. They did all the practicing during the day here, and now they're racing at night. And as you just said, Ray, this track, when I drove it, was one of the most temperature-sensitive tracks in the whole circuit. It would definitely change big time from the beginning of the race to the end of the race, and staying up with it is everything.
I'm still impressed, though, guys, with Jeff Gordon. He and Steve Letarte, they have brought their A game tonight. They have stayed up front throughout these first 60 laps. If they can continue and get that number 24 in position to strike with 50 to go, the DuPont 24 might be back in victory lane.
Tell you what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to figure out how to stop Kyle Busch on those restarts, because a couple times already Gordon's led Kyle Busch on the restart, and both before they got off turn 2 and onto the backstretch, Kyle was around him.
He just needs to start coming off turn 4.
Get a big old head start.
All right. So 3 cautions so far for 12 laps. Kyle Busch has done most of the leading, and all of the front runners were on pit road last at lap 25. So as the race runs green, we're not all that far away from a series of pit stops for these front runners as we swing it back upstairs to Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie, folks.
Thank you, Alan. Kyle has 6 nationwide wins here at Charlotte, but never in Cup. Does tonight be the one that he finally breaks that streak? Check in on Casey Kane. You notice something, Dave?
Marty, he came down on the Jimmie Johnson spin caution, took on 2 tires, but right after that reported a problem. Listen.
I don't know. I'm just dropping my rock. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know what's going on. All I see is that, they're going backwards. vibrating like crazy and I have no brakes.
The vibration is what he's talked about most. He said it wasn't getting worse, so he thought maybe it was just a wheel weight that was maybe thrown from one of the tires or from one of the wheels they changed. They're trying to stay out until this round of green flag stop start, but they've talked about coming down early in case Casey has a real problem.
Well, he's got a problem because he's running 31st right now on the track, and here, if we shift our coverage, let's check in on Kevin Harvick because he has worked his way into the top 5 a little bit quicker than he does normally in these races. And teammate Jeff Burton right behind, and there's the 98 of Paul Menard. Let's get an update on the 29 from Vince.
Well, guys, you noted that he typically starts back in the 20s, and we talked about it pre-race. It wasn't going to take him long to get up toward the front, currently running 5th, and this is playing right into his hand. They came and made that 2-tire pit stop at lap 25. They like the long green flag runs. Gil Martin, Kevin Harvick's crew chief, telling me earlier, Kevin's a rhythm driver, so he likes the green flag runs. The longer it goes, the better they feel they are with the car, and he is as a driver. He says it's a little too loose for his liking getting into 2 and 3, but otherwise they've been pretty strong here early.
Well, and the teammates running nose to tail reminds me of last night where we heard the guys coming out of the cars after the nationwide race talking about the draft and how much it had an effect. There's a difference here.
Yeah, the cars are very, very similar as far as the draft is concerned, but the engines make so much more power in this series that you don't see it. It's not as dramatic of an effect as far as how they pull up on each other on the straightaway.
Montoya and Carl Edwards battling back and forth for position. On the left side of your screen, Burton says, maybe I'd like to go around.
Yeah, Jeff Burton's been just steadily moving forward. He's been working this bottom side. You can see, looks like he's going to be able to slide up just in front of Kevin Harvick and take that spot away.
Now, we've seen Jeff Burton run some really good races on mile and a half. Kansas comes to mind. But at the end of the race, they made an adjustment or didn't make an adjustment and really got off at the end. So we'll see how they handle that tonight. They do have a good car right now.
Yeah, we'll have to see if this racetrack does change. You know, they started later here. I don't know that we're going to see that big of a change with the racetrack, but we'll keep an eye on these cars up front that are really running good right now and see if indeed they are still there at the end.
Paul Menard, future teammate next year with both those guys. He gets around Kevin Harvick. Looks more like Kevin gave him the spot. As we go back further front up in the field, there is our race leader, Kyle Busch. His lead is 1.7 seconds over Jeff Gordon. Joey Logano, Mark Martin, and Jeff Burton round out your top 5. Yeah, he's smiling because he's up front.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on ABC. Brought to you by Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness. And Nationwide Insurance. Call or visit us online for a quote today.
Back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we're seeing green flag pit stops. Tony Stewart first in.
Yeah, I watched Tony. He'd gone up and past Greg Biffle and was going forward. He got really loose down in 1 and 2 one time. He's lost a lot of time, Doc.
Very, very loose, DJ. You're exactly right. One round down on the track bar, air pressure adjustment. He's down and away. Just couldn't hang on to it. Vince.
The 29 of Kevin Harvick making a 4-tire change. Also had to clean off that grill. He said it's just a little too loose getting into 2 and 3, making an air pressure adjustment on the 29 as well.
Seems steaming as he comes back out. They did clear away the debris. Kyle Busch is still your race leader by 1.3 seconds. David Rudiman's in, Vince.
David Rudiman says it just will not turn. Been battling tight throughout the course of the evening tonight, making a 4-tire change, air pressure adjustment as well for Rudiman in the 0-0.
He gets back out. As you see on the right side of your screen, the race leader going around Patrick Carpentier. Carpentier now 1 lap down in 28th position. Doc, Denny Hamlin's coming your way.
Denny Hamlin said it had gotten tight in and was starting to get more and more tight on exit. 3/4 of a round down on the track bar. 3/4 of a round down left rear and air pressure. Making adjustments. He's driven from 23rd starting spot up to 8th. Jamie.
And the 16 of Greg Biffle, and he's saying he's both tight and loose. The last round of pit stops did not help any. Not a happy camper, Dave.
Kyle Busch on on pit road now. He gives up that #1 spot. They'll put 4 tires on this time. They're going to reduce the air pressure in the right front of that tire, right front tire, and they're going to go down on the track bar a little bit loose. Jeff Gordon is on pit road as well. He said, my car gets tight if I'm real aggressive going into the corner. So he backed that up a little bit, but they'll still make an air pressure adjustment to help Jeff.
See the 18 get out in front of Gordon. Sam Hornish, Joey Logano coming out right behind. More pit stops continuing. Martin Truex coming out. Kurt Busch has just pulled in. Here comes the 99 back out onto the track. Paul Menard is in.
Having trouble on that right rear.
And that is rubber on fire down in the pit for Carl Edwards. Doc?
Had gasoline on fire. Carl was able to get the car out of here. The entire pit area, the block, flamed up. They were able to get the fire out. Everyone is okay. Jamie, how about the 48, Jimmie Johnson?
And the 48, who has been struggling tonight, to say the least. Loose has been the problem that caused his earlier spin. See him working their way around the left side of his track bar adjustment last time around. 4 tires, Vince.
The 31 of Jeff Burton is in. You saw they made a 4-tire change. Just needs to turn a little bit better for Burton.
So you see Burton coming back out. We'll wait for everything to recycle, be able to tell you exactly who has taken over the race lead. Right now it is shown as Juan Pablo Montoya because he has yet to make his pit stop. Behind him is Matt Kenseth in second place, 5.7 seconds behind. But again, these two have not stopped. In fact, the top 3, Clint Boyer has yet to make his stop. He is shown in 3rd position. Patrick Carpentier 4th, Kyle Busch in 5th, and Kyle is the first of that group that has made his stop. And here comes the 42 as Montoya peels off. He is our 8th different leader tonight. We've had a total of 8 lead changes. Let's go to Jamie Little.
Juan Pablo Montoya, once they got rid of the trash on the grill, everything has been great. They said keep it up. They actually brought in a different setup, put Jamie McMurray's setup on, and it is 100% identical. Car has been great. 4 tires, they're going to fill it up. You see it there. No chassis adjustments, air pressure adjustments, only as they move around to the left side. This has been one of his worst racetracks. They hope to change that tonight. 14.2 for the 42.
Right now, Matt Kenseth is shown as your race leader, and it looks like Matt is now turning down on pit road. Saw the 64 turn behind the wall. That's Jeff Green. Vince?
Here comes the 17 of Matt Kenseth. Kenseth having a little bit of an issue on the right side, making a 4-tire change there. It's a little bit too tight for Matt. They want to get a better handle on it. Just has not had a good handling car from the get-go today. Continuing to tweak on it.
Clint Boyer takes over as the race leader, our 10th different leader, and now he is going to peel off and come down pit road. He'll surrender the race lead to Patrick Carpentier if Carpentier stays out. Let's send it down to Jamie Little again.
And the plan was for Clint Boyer, stay out and lead a lap. Remember, his regular crew chief is off this weekend, and for 2 more races, Scott Miller making the call. 4 tires for Clint Boyer. Car has been good. They had damage earlier, seems to have repaired itself. Everything looks good. Quick stop, 12.9.
And of course, he's one of the chase contenders. 6 chase contenders have led tonight, but again, not Denny Hamlin yet. He has yet to pick up any bonus points. We pointed that out as one of the key elements in Countdown earlier this evening. Carpentier is slowing down now as he is our 11th different leader, and he'll surrender the lead as it cycles through to the 18 of Kyle Busch.
We've seen a lot of these guys working a lot of different parts of the racetrack. Kyle Busch has had this 18 car pretty much right on the bottom of the racetrack this entire race as he's led 66 laps now.
I'll tell you, somebody else that's going to see that 18 in the rearview mirror before too much longer is going to be Jimmie Johnson.
He is 31 seconds behind the race leader. Jimmie is running in 25th position. Well, it's time for our AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year Award, and it's Jeff Gordon currently in the lead, but you determine the standings with your help. Vote from your AT&T phone by texting the car number to 2258 for the Pit Crew you think's the fastest and the most valuable. Stay with us. We're coming back. Chevrolet wants you and 3 of your friends to meet Kevin Harvick and Miss Sprint Cup at the NASCAR Sprint Cup Awards ceremony in Las Vegas. And you also could win 2 all-new Chevrolet Cruze LTZs to go along for the trip. For your chance to win, enter at winyourchevy.com. Riding on board with Kevin Harvick right there, and Harvick running in the 9th position right now. But the man up front, Kyle Busch, and he has stretched his lead to 3.7 seconds. Before the round of pit stops, it was 1.7 seconds. When the cycle came through, it was up to 2.4, and now he's extended it even farther.
Yeah, and he had some traffic to deal with, but he's done a nice job of disposing of that and getting himself out in some clean racetrack here.
Right behind Kyle Busch is Robbie Gordon. He is right now just been put a lap down, now 2 laps down, we should point out. And of course, Randy Rodriguez is his gas man. Let's go over the wall. Remember, we had some spillage last night. Take a look at what happens here.
Oh, got just a little bit of malfunction there in that quick connection right there that they use for the fuel.
And a couple of things that are going to happen next year, one of them involving fuel. In fact, NASCAR's announced E15. The goal is to start at Daytona in February, used in all 3 series from the start of the season. And it'll have 15% ethanol as the series tries to go green. And of course, we want to send our best along to Shane Meal. He had successful surgery on his back and neck. He remains sedated, but he has had stretches where he has been awake and alert, and we send our best along. And of course, the 2011 body update, Chevys and Toyotas have new front splitters and noses approved. The Dodges and Fords are making front bumper changes. Still not fully approved, but they've still got plenty of time. Let's get back to the racing action right now as you're looking back at Paul Menard from Denny Hamlin's car. Denny now running in the 7th position. Paul right behind him in 8th. Well, all of a sudden in my ear, folks, Kyle Busch. Is he got a problem, Dave?
Kyle Busch fans, hang on to your hats because the drama has caught up to Kyle. Listen.
I said off throttle, engine tone changed. I figured out what it is. You gotta be kidding me. Well, we lost another race. Way to go, team. Yeah, the throttle's sticking.
Okay, what it is was that last phrase right there. Throttle sticking, and believe it or not, DJ, I don't know how you do this. It's sticking 50% coming back to him. He's using the cutoff switch to make sure that it doesn't hang too far in the throttle when he needs it to be out of the throttle. How tough is that?
Yeah, that's a lot of work. This place is hard enough without having to take your hand off the wheel and do something else. Kyle's still turning some pretty good laps, I can tell you that, but it's a lot of work. There's different ways that you can do it. Kyle's one that doesn't use a lot of brake, so he might take that left foot and be able to put it under there, but he's finding a way to make it work right now.
Well, here's the only problem with that. If that thing starts getting worse, it might not be as predictable as it is right now, and I think it could hang getting in the corner full throttle, and he's got a real problem.
All right, let's check his lap as he comes across the stripe this time. Last one was at 30.6 seconds. This one at 30.5. Jeff Gordon's last lap was at 30.5. So whatever he's doing, it's still working for now. All right, while all this is going on, let's go back to the Craftsman Tech Garage with Tim Brewer. Can you show everybody what he's actually trying to accomplish in there?
Yeah, Marty, we're down here wrapped around the steering column right now, but as he pushes the pedal down with his foot, a lot of the teams have this bracket on top of the pedal, and he can literally take his toe and pull it back up. So it might not be as bad as a lot of people think. Marty?
Yeah, but he was saying that he had to use the switch to sort of help it through the corners, so maybe that's not curing the problem. Who knows?
Now, apparently he may not have that Tim was talking about. A lot of teams do run that, and without looking in Kyle's car, we don't actually know that. But he's talking about that he's using the switch to cut this thing off, which we've heard drivers do that. But I'm just telling you, this is a hard enough place when you've got both hands on the steering wheel in the corners, much less having to deal with that.
Well, at first and second place just turned 30.6-second laps. Let's go back to the battle for 13th right now. It's Edwards and Biffle as the 2 Roush Fenway teammates are locking horns. That's Juan Pablo Montoya right in front of him. Right behind him is A.J. Allmendinger, David Reagan. Let's get an update. Doc, what do you got?
Well, Carl Edwards, led that lap early. He was going to sit back and sort of take it easy until it was time to go late in this race. But right now, the car is not handling to his liking at all. He came in, the car had gotten tight in the middle, and when it was was okay off. They made a track bar adjustment and air pressure, and now the car is, according to Carr, terrible loose. He could not get the car in the throttle or off the corner by using the throttle, and he's losing spots on the racetrack.
Looks like all the Roush cars are pretty well tuned up the same, though. All 4 of them right there together off turn 4.
Yeah, and Reagan, while you were talking, Doc, got really loose coming out of the corner. Kenseth has gotten around A.J. Allmendinger and moved Allmendinger back to 17th position. He sort of lost a little contact with the group. While all this goes on, looking at the battle for 8th position right now, as you've got in the mix, Menard in 8th, Harvick 9th, McMurray right there as well.
Yeah, McMurray finished 2nd here in the 600. You see him working his way up into that top 10. Just kind of methodical and going about this. Makes his car better throughout the night. We'll keep an eye on him, see if he can get back in the top 5.
And you noticed also that the 39 is back out. Ryan Newman, he is 59 laps down, still shown in 43rd position. Look out, Kyle's got traffic all around him. That's Regan Smith in the 78 down low. And the 34, Travis Quapple, and he's going to split the middle.
Yeah, this is a situation for Kyle where that sticky throttle could cause him some problems.
Little hand gesture out the window. I don't know if he was saying thank you or something else. Either way, he made it through, and he is still leading by now just 3.6 seconds here at the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte. Sprint brings you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network, and right now as it stands, you have a new points leader with Denny Hamlin, and the point difference would be 4 right now, as Jimmie Johnson is currently running in 19th position. Jeff Gordon would be 20 points back in 3rd. For more NASCAR stats and in-car audio and live race audio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile at sprint.com/speed. And the fastest lap time, 29:21, and we are now under caution, waiting for word as to exactly why. We've got debris on the track, the official word, and that's not very good. Is on the back stretch. It looks like there's a couple of pieces that even got off the apron there. So the crews will go out and clean that up, and that'll tighten the field up. And here's a question. If everybody comes into pit, how's this throttle situation going to affect the 18 of Kyle Busch?
Well, it's not going to be good. I don't know exactly how it's going to affect. He might be able to pull that thing back with his toe as he's coming down pit road. So be interesting to see how it works, and they may even try to work on it. They may take this opportunity to work on the throttle.
Yeah, and we've probably run enough laps now that most people are looking at 4 tires here, Andy.
Most of them will, but you might see some 2 tires though.
All right, let's listen on Kyle's radio.
All right. FYI, gas pedal came back to me. I don't know what happened. It's back. Normal. Okay. Thanks for hanging in there, bud. We'll figure out what's going on. I don't know if there's a piece of rubber that got stuck in or on something in the cable mechanism or what.
Well, that sort of answers that question. Let's go to Vince.
Well, the 31 of Jeff Burton, as Andy said, he just doesn't have any rear end security. It's a little too loose on entry and then tight in the middle. They're going to take the wedge out that they had put in before and make a track bar adjustment. Jamie.
Little bit loose is the call from Mark Martin. 1 round down on the track bar. Air pressure adjustment back in the left rear. Dave?
So now for Kyle, the leader. Entry okay. A little tight in center, a little loose up. Air pressure adjustment for him. Jeff Gordon running 2nd. They will make a 4-tire change. No changes unless they called for a late chassis change. And guess what? Kyle is going to keep the lead there, guys.
Yes, he does. But look at Juan Pablo Montoya and Greg Biffle. 2 tires each. One picks up 11. Biffle picks up 8. Truex Jr. loses 4. And the complexion of the race changes again. There's Jimmie Johnson coming out with Clint Boyer right ahead of him. And right behind him, David Reagan. Let's show you what happened in the 48, because word is there was some contact coming out of pit road.
See right there, Clint Boyer just on the outside of Jimmy, and then he gets kind of sandwiched right there. Like got hit from both sides.
From Jimmy's view.
Go, get to the grass. Outside 1 coming, outside 1 coming. That's your mark now.
We'll have to wait and see if there was any contact between the fenders.
You got hit in the right side door.
Tires.
I think you're fine. That's going to help our downforce there a little bit. Good job. Outside.
More contact right there. I don't know if that's going to help his downforce any. Being optimistic.
Well, you see the donut on the 33. That is Jimmie's tire on Clint Boyer's door. Stay with us. We'll go back to green. Two elite backs lead their teams on ESPN's Monday Night Football as Chris Johnson and the Tennessee Titans take on AFC South rival Jacksonville, led by Maurice Jones-Drew. Titans, Jags, ESPN's Monday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern. Our coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown. It's served up by Applebee's. All right, we've got enough time here. Let's talk to the man running in 19th, our in-race reporter, Tony Stewart.
Hey, Tony, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Yeah, bud.
Well, it's been quite an eventful night already, and you're only 112 laps in, but they're getting your race car repaired and getting you back going?
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Really proud of these guys in this Old Spice Office Depot team. They did a really, really good job of getting it patched up here. We're just trying to find our way back here. Hopefully we don't have any more dramas like what we had there earlier with the 39 and the 48 there, but we're clawing our way back slowly but surely.
Okay, man, thanks for talking. Coming to the green.
Thanks.
And we can tell you the free pass went to the 83 of Reed Sorensen, so that means we now have 25 cars on the lead lap. We also had 4 waiver rounds: Travis Quabble, Robbie Gordon, Patrick Carpentier, and David Gilliland. And after the pit stops, Jimmie Johnson will restart in 15th position. Let's get an update from pit road.
Yes, just want to update what Jimmie Johnson did on that last round of pit stops. Checkered, first of all, told him he's the fastest car on the track at that point in time. Jimmie said it's getting better. I can now hustle it around. They put some tape on the grill, made an air pressure adjustment to help him in traffic. But of course, they're keeping an eye on that donut on the right side. They think it's okay at this point, guys, but we won't know until he gets up to speed.
Let's listen in on his radio.
Well, like hell, man. Got back up to 14th, bud. You've been driving your butt off. You can do this, man. You can do this. We'll get you pulled out here at the next pit stop. Make sure we get everything right.
All right, let's reset it for you. It'll be Kyle Busch up front with Jeff Gordon alongside. You can see that Kyle's taking the high side. Montoya, Biffle, Logano, Martin, Burton, Hamlin. That is your top 8. And here we go. Back to green flag racing on lap 115 at Charlotte.
See Gordon with a good start. Looks like Kyle Busch's throttle hung again right there, though.
Yeah, I think it's on purpose, though. Look at Greg Biffle dig.
Yeah.
I really like that 2-tire call that Greg Irwin made on that 16 car.
Biffle shoots into second spot. Gordon followed by Mark Martin.
Man, he is all over Kyle Busch.
He's trying. Check out Denny Hamlin. He's into the 5th spot right now. Montoya getting passed by Joey Logano. Here comes Martin Truex up on the 42. Also Jeff Burton going right on the quarter panel of Truex. There's Jimmie Johnson right now. He is still now in 16th position.
Biffle just got past for second. Jeff Gordon moved around him. Looks like Mark Martin might get him also.
Biffle trying to keep contact with Gordon. So here comes Martin down low. You think the 2 tires now might have been the wrong call?
No, definitely the right call for that team right there, even though he's a little bit high, almost got the wall. I think it's good because he was back too far in this pack. He might lose a few spots, but I think this is going to be a net gain for him.
Mark Martin now closing on Greg Biffle. There's Denny Hamlin closing on Mark. And right behind them is Joey Logano. I'll tell you what, you saw Kyle just flying off in the distance. Speaking of flying, let's see how Jimmie Johnson can handle the 98 of Paul Menard. That is now for 14th position.
Yeah, and that wasn't Jack Knaus just trying to pump Jimmie Johnson up, saying that, you know, they had one of the fastest cars on the track and things like that. He was really that fast. They've really made this car a lot better. Still has a lot of traffic to go through, though.
Right side of your screen, Mark Martin takes over the 3rd spot from Greg Biffle. Left side of your screen, Jimmie clears Paul Menard. Right behind Menard, you see Allmendinger and Carl Edwards, and then Scott Speed. There's your race leader, and the front runners going through. Biffle still running in 4th. Now remember, he was 16. The 16 was 12th before the caution. So right now, you're right, Andy. It's still a net gain at this point. going to be pretty much single file until you get very deep in the field. Here comes Hamlin taking a look down low on the 16. Won't get it done this time. We saw that a lot last night in the nationwide race.
Yeah, we really did last night, and the draft was really a powerful effect, and we saw a lot of cars, you know, not able to clear each other, even for the lead. We saw Keselowski win the race, but just barely over Martin Truex.
You see Biffle kind of gave that spot to Hamlin. He knows his car's a little bit faster. Greg just wanting to hang on here right now. You said, and he's made up some spots here. Just wants to kind of stay in that buffer right there. Not going to race these guys too hard that he knows has 4 and that are a little bit faster anyway.
Well, Denny Hamlin started 23rd in this race. We go on board with Joey Logano, his teammate at Joe Gibbs Racing, as Logano's now going underneath the 16. And can he clear him? Looks like he's got him. He does.
Yeah, we go back to last night. If you haven't watched the practice, the final practice, we talked to Denny Hamlin when that was over. He had a big smile on his face. He was very excited about his race car with something they found late, and it's showing up right now.
Well, let's talk about Denny. He will be our focus on our Gillette Pro Glide profile. And you can see where he started. He was all the way back to 36. Remember when he had to basically flat spot the tires to keep from getting into the spinning in front of him, and right now he's worked his way back to 4th. And I still go back to what he said on our countdown broadcast. I've learned from 5 chases, I'm not going to panic. It's all about the last 3. I just have to stay in contact until those 3. Doc?
Marty, you're exactly right, and that's why he's doing what he's doing this year. He said last year I got so aggressive in the early part of the chase and I gave it away. I made mistake after mistake. This year, very conservative, very patient, very cautious. He said, I may not really run hard for the first 5. Although they talked to him this week, he decided, you know what? As good as we were in that last run and happy hour DJ was talking about, why not just turn it up tonight? So he started 23rd, and now he is getting aggressive, being the Denny Hamlin we saw earlier.
2-car crash down on the front straightaway. Casey Kane's involved, the 77 of Sam Hornish.
Yeah, Casey Kane got loose up high and came across and caught the right rear of the 77.
Everybody else was able to get through, but you can see the damage at both ends of the 77.
Casey Kane's been having a lot of handling problems with this car. They were working on the brakes during the last pit stop.
Yeah, they actually came back in to bleed the brakes.
Sam Hornish, unfortunately, just wrong place at the wrong time here.
Casey's able to get it off the track, but we now have our 5th caution now of the evening here on lap 125. Those two were actually battling for 30th position. They were a lap down, trying to get back into the lucky dog spot.
See Casey Kane back there at the Charlotte Speedway sign. He'd started getting loose there, lost control of it out of 4. Unfortunately for Sam Hornish, he was right there as Casey was coming across.
Pits are closed right now. Gives us a chance to step aside, so stay with us. We'll show you what happens as a discouraged Sam Hornish climbs from the car after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Well, pit road has been a drama-filled place already tonight here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Watch this. Contact, near contact. We've seen plenty of it as this thing has unfolded already.
Boy, we really have. See, Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart coming in, almost get together. Tony Stewart backs up pit road. That's a lot of confidence in your fellow competitors, but he squeaks it in there somehow.
And on a recent pit stop, top of the screen, Jimmie Johnson, David Reagan, Clint Boyer.
There's not much Jimmie Johnson could have done, though. The 6-car David Reagan pulled out. He had to pull over, and there's Clint Boyer. Now, Boyer's mad, thinking that Johnson did it on purpose.
Pit road still closed while they clean up the liquid dropped by the Sam Hornish car from where it came to rest. So let's visit the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. Fastest pit crew determined by the winner of each race, the fastest pit time, and your vote. Be sure to text the car number to 2258 for your pit crew choice if you'd like to participate. We might see more of that clanging and banging on pit road when the stops begin. That'll be a couple of minutes from now.
I've seen a number of things happen.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway under caution. Denny Hamlin, other leaders on pit road. Hamlin will come in. They will top it off with fuel and take a tear off. No tires for Hamlin. Dave.
and it'll be a wedge and a track bar adjustment for Kyle. A little gas, but no tires. Jeff Gordon is on pit road as well. He didn't take tires either. He will take the lead away from Kyle on pit road.
So as the race off pit road, you see Carl Edwards picked up 4 spots with a 2-tire change. And the first 6 took no tires. And as Dave so vividly pointed out, Jeff Gordon gets the lead.
Yeah, looks like Carl Edwards' team has a fast gas man. Actually, they took 2 tires as well, still gained 4 spots. So they did a good job.
Yeah, one of them that stayed out, though, I believe, is Jimmie Johnson. Didn't even come to pit road.
Crew chief, do you like the call of no tires?
Well, yeah, I mean, track position is worth way more than tires at this point.
Driver, did you want the tires?
No, I think the tires are holding up. I just find it very interesting, these guys that we've got standing out here that decided not to come for fuel or anything, thought that they were okay with.
That's not a bad call
being on the racetrack.
And Mark Martin is shown now as your race leader with Martin Truex Jr. in second and Kyle Busch right now shown in third. So we are under our 5th caution. We've had a total of 11 leaders with 13 lead changes. And right back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the top 6 did not pit. That is Mark Martin, Truex, McMurray, Montoya, Jimmie Johnson, and Clint Boyer. The free pass goes to the 82 of Scott Speed, and we've still got the pace lights on. And we're going to find out just whether or not the strategy is going to pay off for these guys up front. Let's go back and show you why we are under this caution. As these two, Casey Kane just gets turned and goes right into the 77.
As I said, Casey had been battling his race car, got extremely loose there as he came across the track. The 77 was right there.
And we've caught up with Sam Hornish as he's been released from the Infield Care Center. Vince, let's talk to him.
And it's good to see that Sam is doing well. Had a pretty decent race car at one point earlier in the race. Ran up into the top 15. Then what happened there with the 9?
He just got loose coming off of 4, and I was trying to get around him before he spun and just got hit in the right rear quarter and spun us into the outside wall. So tough day for the Mobile One Dodge. It's unfortunate for sure. The car got really free as the track started cooling down, so we're just working on getting it better. And apparently his car was freer than mine.
Yeah, tough night for Sam Hornish. Marty.
All right, thanks, Vince. And before we go green, you see the lights are out, so we're going to green next time. But let's listen in on Clint Boyer's radio.
We had to take a chance there to get some track position. You know, we're going to need a yellow, but hell, we're exactly the same on fuel and everything as those guys in front of us, so that worked out pretty good. 2-4.
Yeah, Boyer pitted 16 laps before everybody behind him. He pitted back on lap number 112. Everybody else came in at 128.
That's the only thing they gained by doing that. The other leaders that pitted got fuel. They didn't get any tires, so they don't have an advantage there. Only thing is the guys up front have to pit just a little sooner if it goes green.
All right, so we've got Mark Martin. He's going to be on the outside. Inside will be Martin Truex. Then you got McMurray, Montoya, Johnson, Boyer. Then those that did pit: Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, and Denny Hamlin. Green flags in the air. We're back to racing here at Charlotte. Lap 132.
Have to remember that Boyer and Jimmie Johnson had a little disagreement on pit road earlier, so see if that carries over to the racetrack any at all here.
They're side by side right now. Jimmie inches ahead. Here comes Boyer right back on him. Still double file all the way back. Side by side for the race lead. Truex, Mark Martin. Jamie McMurray. What a run he's had tonight. All the way back when he started in 27th. Now he's going for 2nd place. Trying to run down Mark Martin. We've had 11 different leaders tonight, 13 lead changes. A little further back, look at Kyle Busch coming up on the 33 of Boyer.
Yeah, he's just looking for somewhere to go. Boyer and the 48 of Jimmie Johnson continue to be side by side. Now Boyer is able to clear Jimmie Johnson. He's going after Montoya now.
Jimmie pulling up on the spoiler of the 42. Mark Martin leads another lap. All this action happening behind him. And he wants no part of it. He's liking the clean air. Whoa, look out. Montoya gets loose. It's going to cost him. He could lose more because here comes Jeff Gordon, Denny Hamlin. Hamlin's going to look inside the 24. Logano's going to follow his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate. Hamlin's got a nose ahead of Gordon. Can he make it stick going down into one? Jeff comes right back on him, retakes the spot.
Yeah, I think that shows just how good Jeff Gordon's car is here tonight. It makes it, driving these cars, when you put just fuel in, when you got some laps on the tires, makes it a little bit loose to start with. You get some more of that fuel burn off.
They go through the corner, still side by side. Now Denny's got him clear. He can slide up, and he does. Side by side, you got the 48 of Jimmie Johnson and Kyle Busch.
Yeah, Jamie McMurray now working on Mark Martin for the lead.
He's all over him. He's got that high line. He's got the momentum coming off the corner. Mark's trying to hold him off.
Well, we've seen Jamie McMurray this year on these difficult racetracks be really good as he goes and takes the lead from Mark Martin now.
Made it look pretty easy right there. A little further back on the left side of your screen, you've got those three duking it out for fourth. Johnson, Busch, Boyer.
You know, the cars that stayed out and didn't get fuel, like you said, Dale, their cars are lighter, especially in the rear. When you're talking about the cars being loose, they have a little advantage by not having that fuel performance-wise.
See if they get that caution to help them out later on, as they're going to be needing fuel, obviously, sooner than those guys that made that pit stop.
You saw the view from Tony Stewart. That's what it looks like as he is in a log jam right now. A little bumping and banging going on. Reed Sorensen in the 83 got a little loose. He's underneath. Here comes the 99 under Jeff Burton on the high side. Biffle's going to try to go around Burton. Going to have to get a little closer before he can pull that maneuver. And here comes Tony on the low side.
Yeah, remember when Greg Biffle took those two tires to get that track position? Well, he's obviously lost all of that and some more back in that 20th spot.
Biffle flies around using the momentum.
Well, he's not scared to get up there, that's for sure.
He's come close to that wall several times.
Yeah,
left
48.
side.
Yeah, he's on the move forward now. He's up into the third spot.
Jimmie Johnson, remember, he had the spin. He's rallied back. Right side of your screen, you can see Jeff Burton still got his hands full. Here comes Regan Smith. Menard goes around. Is something wrong with the 31? He has just dropped 3 spots.
I think he just wanted out of that little hornet's nest he was in.
Yeah, maybe seeing a little bit of what we've seen a couple of races here where they lose the handle of the car a little bit, making some adjustments, and they were up running in the top 10, well in the top 10. Kansas and California ended up having not so good days.
Bobby Labonte in that 10 car is 1 lap down, running in the 27th position. But Scott Speed, that is first position if he can get up to him. There goes Regan Smith.
He said Regan Smith is in that lucky dog spot. That's why you see these cars racing so hard there.
All right, while we've got a moment, there is the 31. Let's get an update, Vince.
Yeah, the one problem for Jeff Burton, they just do not have any rear end security or front end security for that matter. He just came on, he said, this thing is so loose I can hardly drive it. And for Jeff Burton to not be able to drive it, that's saying something about how loose it is, right?
All right, Vince, as you finish up the battle for 7th, Clint Boyer all over Jeff Gordon. These guys are now about 4 seconds, I should say, behind the race lead.
Yeah, see Boyer struggling with his car a little bit here. Still need to make some adjustments. They've come a long way throughout this race, but still needs to work on this 33 car a little bit more, get him competitive to run right up front.
Matt Kenseth in the battle for 15th goes around David Ruderman. Wave of the hand from Kenseth. Checking in on Jeff Gordon again. He is still running in that 7th position. Dave, what are you hearing?
Marty, remember, he sat on the pole. He was the fastest qualifier. But in practice, the car was kind of back and forth for crew chief Steve Letarte to work on. I asked Steve if he was worried about the fact that they didn't spend any 10-lap run on the track. All of their runs were less than 10. They were in and out of the garage a lot. And he said, you know what? That didn't freak me out too much. If you think you're going to be on the pole and lead all 500 miles here, you just let yourself get set up for panic. Said, I'm not panicking. They had a good run in the middle of practice, and he said gave them confidence they'd be okay tonight. And so far, they have been.
Well, they never looked good in practice. I mean, before qualifying, they were 33rd, not fast at all, went out and sat on the pole. And then all the happy hour session and the one before that, they did not look good. But his car's really performing. I think it's when the sun went down, the track got really cold. I think that's what really this 24 car likes, and it's been good, really pretty good all night long. Right now, he is out of the top 5, but that's because of strategy.
Battle for 13th, Matt Kenseth. He's on the move. He's going around his teammate David Reagan. Made it look simple, and so does Rudeman as he flies by. So Kenseth starting to move towards the front. He's picked up about 3 spots in the last 3 laps, move him up to the 13th position. While he pulls away, so is Jamie McMurray. He has opened up a 1.2-second lead over Mark Martin. Jimmie Johnson is 2.6 seconds behind. And remember, McMurray, in only his 2nd Cup race back in 2002, he led 96 laps here at Charlotte and went on to pick up his first Cup win here at the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on ABC. Brought to you by Sears. Sears. Life well spent. And Toyota.
Back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we are working lap 152 of 334 at the Bank of America 500. Race leader right now is Jamie McMurray. We have a total of 4 cars officially out of the race. 2 others are off behind the wall. And as you see Jamie McMurray getting Robbie Gordon 1 lap down, or another lap down. Let's go up to speed and send it to Vince Welch.
Well, it's been a good night for Jamie McMurray. Obviously running up there in the front. He started 27, says the car's a little bit loose, but it's pretty good, although says he's got a little debris on the front end, he believes, because the temperatures are starting to rise. And in regards to a good night, remember, he was battling Ryan Newman for that 13th spot, something both teams were taking some pride in. Newman had early problems with contact, and it's been a big night from a points perspective in that battle for Jamie McMurray. Jamie Little?
And behind him, Mark Martin, after last week's great run where he led 41 laps and finished 6th. That was the boost this team and driver needed. They've been running this particular setup for the last 3 weeks, and it's something a little riskier than his teammates are running. It has been working. The car's been a little bit loose tonight, but pretty good. Behind him, look who's coming. Jimmie Johnson, after spinning all by himself on lap 35, blowing out his tires, pitting twice for tires, he's fought his way back. I asked his crew chief, Chad Knaus, this morning, why are you guys so good here? He said it's adjusting to adversity, adjusting on this car. That is what they've done tonight. He's just a little snug now, Dave.
About bouncing back from last week's motor failure this week, Kyle Busch said, you know what, we would love to win the rest of the races, but there's only one guy who could win the rest of the races in the chase. That's the guy right in front of him, the 48. He didn't pick himself. Now, when Jimmy got around him at this restart, here's what he said about him on the radio.
Superman, he woke up.
A lot of respect for Jimmie Johnson. He'd like to pass him right now. Hasn't said anything about his car on this run so far. Doc?
And Denny Hamlin, who started back in 23rd position, dodged the bullet on lap 1 with a spinning car of Kurt Busch. Had to come down pit road, change 4 tires, and then promptly drove this 11th car all the way into the top 10, where he has stayed for the remainder of the night. The car's still a tick tight. Remember, they didn't take tires on their last stop. Dave.
And Martin Truex didn't even stop, Doc. Remember, he restarted 2nd. He has fallen back to 6th at this point with a car they really like. It's the same one that they won the Sprint All-Star Showdown with here in May, and then finished 2nd in the All-Star race. A good machine for Truex tonight. Jamie?
And behind him is Clint Boyer. Now, he's led a lap tonight, got those extra bonus points. Remember, he is in the chase. He's down at the bottom, but this team is working to make effort with this car. You can see the damage on the right front. He's been in 2 incidences tonight, one on pit road with the 48. You see the donut on the left side, but this team is running a sticker thinking of the 30 miners that were rescued in Chile tonight. A great thought for all of them. Dave?
In practice this weekend, Joey Logano was not able to get his car both balanced and fast. It's actually been pretty good that way tonight. And crew chief Greg Zipadelli told me that to get it there, they were going to go back to some all-star race notes from here in May, when Joey finished very, very well in that race as well. So the notes working well. Joey still in the top 10. Now, Jeff Gordon's fallen back just a couple of positions right now. He said it was getting in traffic a little bit tight, but then when he got a little bit free of traffic, it got free. Looser and looser has been the report for Jeff on this run. Vince?
Kevin Harvick started 24th, and it did not take him long to get up toward the front. He's run in the top 5 for a bit tonight, but right now the car not quite what he needs it to be.
I mean, we're just burying ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, whether it's pit road or track position like that. I mean, that just can't happen. Not tonight, because we are not fast enough to pass a freaking car. I can see that, but we've got a long way to work on it, and I think we can get it there. But if you're 20th, like we're going to be, you're not going to get there. I don't think you're hearing what I'm saying. We are not going to get there tonight. So we need track position.
There you hear a track position in Kevin Harvick's mind, everything. Gil Martin trying to keep him pumped up and let him know they can still work on the car. But right now, Kevin says it's a little too tight in, a little free off, but it's a little better in both regards than it had been earlier in this run. Also a little debris on the front end. Keeping an eye on those temperatures, Marty.
All right, Vince, as we swing back to the battle up front, at least for the 3rd spot, as Jimmie Johnson has it, Kyle Busch is trying to reel him in. Kyle has been one of our 12 different leaders tonight. We've had a total of 14 lead changes. 25 cars are still on the lead lap. And as we told you earlier, 4 cars are out of this race officially. Sam Hornish, Green, Castle, Yaley, and off behind the wall, Carpentier, McDowell, and Casey Kane. All right. Pit stops are on the horizon, and right now it's Jamie McMurray with a 3.8-second lead over Mark Martin here at the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Reese Davis with you, keeping your finger on the primetime pulse on ESPN. Number 1 in a world of trouble. Wisconsin getting the ball back, up by 10, under 6.5 to go. And on ESPNU, Mississippi State trying to hand Florida its 3rd consecutive loss.
Let's check the calendar while we've got a moment, because Jimmy McMurray's just flying up front, 3.6 seconds in the lead. NASCAR Now is tonight at 1 a.m. I have the race recap on ESPN2, and Monday at 5 Eastern with the roundtable. And then NASCAR Nationwide Series will be at Gateway next week, 3 o'clock Eastern time next Saturday on ESPN2. And then on Sunday, the Sprint Cup Series will be at Martinsville, 1 o'clock Eastern, countdown starting at noon on ESPN2. Looking at the top 10 right now, Jamie McMurray in a Chevy, followed by 2 more Chevys. In fact, you got to go all the way down to 11th place to find the first Ford. They haven't won here since May of 2002. Pit stops are starting. Dave?
This is for the guys that pitted on lap 110, Marty. So Martin Truex will take a tight center loose off race car and ask for looks like a track bar or a wedge and an air pressure adjustment for him. He gave up 6th place to come down pit road at this time. Jamie?
And Jimmie Johnson making his way down. He's been getting a little bit snubbed. Remember last week they dropped a lug in the rear. The driver has been doing his job tonight. The team needs to execute here. 4 tires, they'll fill it up with Sunoco fuel. Doesn't look like any adjustments on the chassis, it was just air pressure. Meanwhile, the 1 is on pit road. The 42, his teammate Juan Pablo Montoya, 14.3 for Jimmie Johnson. He is down and away. The 42 there is Juan Pablo Montoya as they work on the left side, Vince.
Well, there's your leader, Jamie McMurray. He's had a good run tonight. Has come from 27th to 1st. Just a 4-tire change, says it's just a tad loose. No chassis adjustments. Very slight air pressure. Jamie.
And Mark Martin saying the same thing. Just a little bit loose. Needs to tighten it up just a bit. 4 tires and fuel for Mark Martin, who's having a great night, guys.
And as those come off the pit road back out onto the track, Kyle Busch assumes the race lead, with Denny Hamlin now in 2nd place.
And you have to wonder just how long these guys will stay out here, Andy. Yeah, that's the question. They can run about 10 or 15 laps farther, but will they come on in with these other leaders so they don't lose too much time to them, or will they stay out there? Jamie?
And the 33 up to third. 4 tires here. They dropped a lug on the last round of stops. They've had a lot go wrong tonight, guys. They were just trying to stay out for some track position, gain some points there. See him jack it up on the left side. Again, you see that donut. He's down and away.
Also
and the 83 of Reed Sorensen, guys. He was 2nd in happy hour last night. High expectations. This is a new generation generation race car they brought to the track on Thursday. Toyota Motors have been great, they said. See the right sides. His car has not been great tonight. He has been loose. Reed Sorensen down and away, guys. He will not be in this car next weekend.
And there is our race leader, Kyle Busch. His margin over Denny Hamlin, 2.4 seconds, and he has now led his 113th lap tonight, far and away over second place Jamie McMurray, who has led 34. Let's listen in on the 18 radio.
I'm either going to drive it into the wall or spin it out. I'm out of ideas.
You heard him say he's out of ideas. What would you tell him?
No, I mean, he's still in a good position. I think they're fine. I don't. They just found themselves out there with cars that had the same tires and they had more fuel, a little more weight. Once everything resets, I think they're going to be fine.
Well, Kyle and Doc, let's send it to you.
A.J. Allmendinger says the car is very tight, but he's also very frustrated. He said, we are the slowest car out here on the straightaway. Everyone's just running by me on the straightaway, doing the best he can to stay at or near the top 10. Dave.
And your leader is on pit road right now, tight in the center, up off the corner. His car feels pretty good. So they're definitely going to clean the grill because they thought he might have some debris on there. But so far, no chassis adjustments on the 18 car. Vince?
The 31 of Clint Boyer's been dealing with the car that just does not handle in traffic. He says when he gets up next to somebody, the car just gets wicked loose. You saw him cleaning off the grill, 4 tire change and air pressure adjustment for Burton. Doc.
Denny Hamlin coming down pit road. Got to be very careful with the speed. Slams on the brakes. Remember, they took no tires on the last stop. Right side tires going on. Slight chassis adjustment. They had called 2 tires. Now they will go ahead and do 4. Vince.
The 00 of David Rudiman was too loose early, then it wouldn't turn, now too loose again, a round and a half out of the left rear, and 4 tires in Sunoco fuel for David Rudiman. Dave.
20 car of Joey Logano coming down pit road. He moved up to 7th before the early pitters started coming down pit road. Joey's car has gone to the free side, but the heating up of the motor compartment has been the big deal. Debris on his grill, they'll clean that for sure. And as they go to work on Joey's car, looks like it's going to be an air pressure adjustment for him. Jeff Gordon is also coming down pit road. Remember, he said looser and looser on that run. The wedge wrench going in the left rear of the car, air pressure adjustment as well for the 4-time champ. Doc?
Tony Stewart said don't need to be freer in the gas, but do need to be freer getting in the middle of the corner. 4 tires on for last week's winner. He's away. Vince.
The 29 of Kevin Harvick, they say their strength is tuning on the car to make it better. They need to tune on it a bit because it's just not fast enough, according to Kevin. Trying to get a clean pit stop here. They had a slow one earlier in the night. They're going to just go with air pressure changes on this stop. 4 tires to try to help Harvick get a little quicker.
You guys catch your breath for a second. That was a great round of pit stops, guys. Kevin Harvick comes back out. And now Greg Biffle, who was the race leader, is cycling through. Let's send it back to Jamie.
Well, Marty, you talked to a lot of crew chiefs this morning. They said that 16 was one of the 2 fastest cars they watched for. Hasn't been the case yet tonight. The call is right sides only. You saw the wrench in the left rear. Going to make a wedge adjustment as he's loose. Doc?
Carl Edwards said I'm a 2 to 3 loose on rolling and 2 to 3 tight on the gas. 4 tires, air pressure adjustment. They've made the call. Going to get it completely full of fuel, and Carl hammers the throttle, heads down pit road.
All right, thanks, Doc. Boy, we're now up to 16 different leaders, 20 total lead changes through that incomplete cycle. And right now, Jamie McMurray is again your race leader. Jeff Burton is side by side with him, but Burton is the first car a lap down, so he has now just gotten back on the lead lap.
Yeah, Burton came out. He was about 5 or 6 car lengths behind Jamie McMurray. He's running down now and made that pass, got himself back on the lead lap for the time being.
And let's point out one other thing. During that cycle, Denny Hamlin led a lap. The first time he's led a lap in the chase. So he finally picks up 5 bonus points. And that's one thing Jimmie Johnson has yet to do tonight. So right now, McMurray leads Mark Martin by 2.3 seconds here at the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte. Welcome back to the Bank of America 500 here at Charlotte, and make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. And Jamie McMurray still our race leader, but guess who's closing? Jimmie Johnson during the break has gotten around Kyle Busch, and only one of the last 31 chase races have been won by a non-chaser. Guess who it was? the man in front right now. Jamie McMurray back at Talladega, October of last year.
Yeah, he better not look in his mirror too closely because he's going to see that big Lowe's hood coming at him in a hurry.
Well, you know, Jamie had some trash on the grill that last run right before they made that pit stop, and I'm not sure that wasn't really helping his car. Yeah, he cleaned it off now, and it just doesn't seem to be going nearly as well.
Well, Jimmy's one of 3 chasers that have not yet led tonight. The other 2 are Tony Stewart and Kurt Busch. Let's quickly get an update on the one. Vince.
I don't know how many times Jamie McMurray has to say the word really before everybody gets the idea, but he gave 3 reallys, as in really, really, really loose. I don't know if taking that debris off the grill, Andy, made that big of a difference, but it's clear that McMurray doesn't have the car he had before he made that pit stop.
Well, Vince, if that's the case, if he's loose, it probably was not that debris, because that would actually make the car turn better. This set of tires just not agreeing with Jamie's car at this point of the race, so they may end up having to make a change on this thing, and you see Jimmie Johnson now just blows by him for the lead.
And Jimmie now will become the race leader, and how demoralizing is this to the rest of the field?
New leader, 48.
He was 37th on lap 36, 5 seconds from going the lap down, and now he's back in the race lead. If you're one of those other guys, what are you thinking, DJ?
Thinking he looked like he's on his way to that 5th championship.
5 points. Keep on hustling.
We understand now more, if you haven't figured it out before, exactly why these guys are so good when it comes to these 10 races in the chase. They're just the best at adjusting their car and overcoming adversity, where it takes other people right out of the mix. They use it as motivation, I think.
I think you got to give Jimmie Johnson a lot of credit. He was in a lot of tight spots, and he drove his way to the lead.
Jeff Gordon trying to work his way back up, as you see on the left side of your screen. Right side, Kyle Busch has gotten around Jamie McMurray for 2nd position, and Mark Martin is closing on McMurray. Gordon right now shown in 10th position. Right ahead of him is 9th with Juan Pablo Montoya.
Whoops, Gordon get really loose right there.
Hang on.
Yep.
Oh, he just about got tagged.
I think he might have a flat tire.
Yeah, he's got a problem here. He's actually the motor. You see
No
the
idea what's
exhaust?
going on.
Oh, yeah.
Could be
right
a
here.
battery issue. It could be electric.
That's all power. All power gone.
Yep.
Ford, you got both. Oh, dash out. 32, make sure you have power.
We
have no power.
Caution to this. He's maybe not going to make it
Check
back.
your kill switch. Check your Rouse fuse.
Take a pit
Now
back
we're
up
rolling.
here.
Now it's going.
May have switched batteries.
But look what's going to happen. He's going to go a lap down to his teammate,
Then you
Jimmie
got a battery
Johnson.
number 2.
Yeah, he's got an alternator issue evidently, and he probably didn't catch it on his gauge, and it just drained the first battery completely.
And we were talking about this during the break. It seems like every race, when they feel or look like they've got everything coming together, all of a sudden, bam.
Yeah, that's just a
Ford, just
bad
keep
break
running.
right there.
You're on battery 2. Keep running it.
From A.J. Allmendinger's perspective.
So he gets in throttle and nothing happens. Almost got
Biffle.
ran over. Man.
Biffle makes a great move to get around him. And right now, Jeff Gordon 1 lap down. He's in the lucky dog position, but he's in 23rd position. Let's go to the Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim?
Hey, some guys only use 1 battery in the car, but I've always been a big fan of 2 batteries. But what Jeff had to do is reach down beside the seat. He's got this selector in 1. All he's got to do is flip the switch over here, put it on the 2nd battery, and continue on.
The only problem is, Tim, if he's got an alternator issue, they may not be able to run too much longer even on that battery. So this is a problem that may come back to haunt him.
Well, he now makes Jeff the 6th chase contender to have issues tonight. He's right alongside another one, Kurt Busch. Busch is in 28th position. He is 2 laps down. And remember, he was going for the sweep here. And it looks like the sweep is going to not happen for the 7th time. Doc, you've got an update on Kurt?
They have just struggled mightily here with this chassis tonight after being so good here in May and winning both the All-Star race and then dominating in the Coke 600. They have changed everything but the number and the sponsor on that car. They've clicked shocks, they put rubbers in, taken rubbers out, track bar, wedge, major chassis adjustment. And right now he's complaining in the car just being tight everywhere, entering the corner, through the middle and off, just hanging on to keep it out of the wall.
Brother Kyle goes underneath him. Kyle right now in 2nd place, 1.2 seconds behind race leader Jimmie Johnson. 17 different leaders tonight, 22 lead changes, and there is the man that everybody is trying to reel in. And right now, none of them are successful.
Just about 2/3 of the way through tonight's race in Charlotte. Here's what's happened so far in our Dodge race rundown. A lot of guys in the chase have had a challenging night.
It has been absolutely a tough race from the get-go on pit road. Guys having a lot of trouble. Then we've got all of our chasers having trouble. Kurt Busch, we thought would win this race early on, gets in a spin, gets tore up. Tough night for him.
Jimmie Johnson, I mean, this is on character for Jimmie Johnson. Loses it into spins, doesn't hit anything. Comes back in, makes major adjustments on the car, and got it really handling good now.
Track awfully slick, and right there, Jeff Gordon, some kind of an electric problem, has to switch to battery number 2, loses several spots, and now is 1 lap down.
And we saw Tony Stewart at the beginning of the highlight have his troubles early in the race. Here's that problematic pit road.
Speaking of, Tony Stewart comes down, Carl Edwards is coming out, Tony backs up, shows a lot of confidence in his competitors, gets that thing into his pit box.
And we have trouble on the racetrack. It is Marcus Ambrose that spins around, brings out caution number 6. And he goes directly to pit road. Caution erasing a 1.7 second lead that Jimmie Johnson had over Kyle Busch. Going to be interesting to see here if Jeff Gordon gets the free pass on this one, because
all right, we're the lucky dog. Steer him
does.
around when you need, Dick. You're in control of the car. Let me work up a plan here.
All right, so you hear Stephen Letarte communicating with Gordon. Jeff Burton about to be lapped. Caution saves him. Jeff Gordon was lapped when he had the electrical problem. He's going to get to come back around onto the lead lap now, but they got to figure out what's wrong with the car first.
Just doesn't seem like a recipe for success for these guys getting into the latter part of the race. See the 47 car coming off the corner there. He's with another car. It looks like he just got sucked around being on the bottom there.
Yeah, it looks like it was right underneath Reed Sorensen, the Red Bull car, and just kind of lost it right there. And look how Jimmie Johnson avoids the accident, gets through there nice and clean, no problem with him.
So this will bring everybody back to pit road for another round of stops with 131 laps to go. If for some strange reason this race were to run green to the finish, it puts people really on the outside of making it on one more stop. But we don't expect that green run to the finish, do we now, Vince?
Jamie McMurray in. He says the car just keeps getting freer and freer the length of that run. They're going to put 4 fresh tires on it for him. Jamie Little.
And Mark Martin says he's too tight. He needs a drink and a tear-off air pressure adjustment of 4. And then the 48 says that loves the balance. He's starting to get just a little bit tight. 4 tires, small adjustment for Jimmie Johnson, Dave.
Kyle was second. They hope by taking air pressure out of the left front, putting it in the right rear, and giving him a little bit of a track bar adjustment, he can turn the center better and get better grip off. He certainly got grip going off of pit road, and he'll win the race off.
A little strategy for the 16 team, a little problem for the 48.
Wow, Greg Biffle picks up 9 spots. Kyle Busch has been outstanding when he's been up front. Jimmie Johnson's got a tough road to hoe coming from 5th.
Yeah, Jimmie Johnson looks like he had problems on the right side of the car. Stopped, just looked real slow and carried it over 4 positions, almost a second slower than the rest of his competitors.
And the scoring line, Kyle Busch clearly well out ahead of Greg Biffle and Denny Hamlin.
It'll be a great restart here.
The restart comes up after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Jimmie Johnson had a rough pit stop. Let's go back and analyze it. He's right now in 5th.
Yeah, he came in the leader of the race. Make this 4-tire change. Their clock starts right there when he stops. About a 5.5 second right side is good. You can see they're just about a second off of that. Come around to the left side. Like the rear tire changer, just a little slow on the right. But they're waiting on the left rear tire changer on the left. And, see the spots he's losing as he drives away.
So as we get a chance, let's compare his pit time.
Yeah, Kyle Busch had a 12.3. That team's solid as a rock. You can see it is about a second on both sides. 8/10 on the left, a little over a second on the right side. So that's what it takes.
Okay. Alan mentioned Jeff Gordon got the lucky dog. He'll restart in 22nd position. A number of wave rounds, 8 of them. But we're going to go back to green flag racing. I'll get them to you as quickly as we can. Kyle Busch on the high side. Here we go. Hamlin looking down low, thinks better of it. very strong again on the restart. Denny Hamlin still on that low side. Mark Martin tucks down in front of him.
Looks like Jamie McMurray's car is tuned back up again. He's working high on Denny Hamlin. Big run off 4.
A little bit further back, you see Joey Logano alongside with Carl Edwards. As they're side by side through the corner and still are. Now Logano pulls up and Carl tucks in behind. Here comes Hamlin underneath McMurray.
McMurray got bottled up a little bit behind Mark Martin.
On board with Jimmy, his view of what he sees right in front of him.
Now McMurray going to go on the outside of Mark Martin in turn 1.
He carries the momentum, and here comes Hamlin right along with him.
Yeah, looks like they've got Jamie's car tightened back up now. See if he can make a run back to the front.
I have a feeling he just had a set of tires on that car that it just didn't agree with his setup. And so that probably didn't really make much of a change and just put another set of tires on. He's back going again.
Jimmy goes up to the high side, trying to pick up some momentum. There's the margin. Let's get more from pit road. Vince.
Yeah, exactly. On the one car, the set of tires didn't agree. Plus, they made an air pressure adjustment at all 4 corners here that helps McMurray out immediately, as he said, boy, this feels a lot better. Remember, it was 3 looses before, loose, loose, loose. He's talking with a much calmer voice.
Yeah, he had a bunch of reallys in there too, didn't he, Vin?
All right, let me give you the wave around since it's calmed down just for a moment. With Sadler, Keselowski, Bobby Labonte, Gordon, Carpentier, Quapple, Blaney, Gilliland. So now we're all squared away on the restart. Here we are with everybody pretty much in single file again until you get way back there in the field. And you see the 43 A.J. Allmendinger side by side with the 98 of Paul Menard. That is for 16th on the racetrack. Jeff Burton back in that group as well. He's trying to go underneath Scott Speed. And there is Jeff Gordon. Gordon right now in 20th. Burton 2 spots ahead of him. Let's get an update on Jeff Gordon's situation. Dave?
Marty, during that stop, they took out both bad batteries. They put in 2 brand new batteries. And the alternator is not working at all. I did check with Scott Maxim from the motor department at Hendrick. He said there's a chance the alternator could charge these batteries, either one of them as he goes along, but he's going to switch back and forth between the batteries. And they said make sure that before you switch to one battery, turn them both on so you don't kill the car completely.
Fighting that wheel. I'll tell you what, let's get more on what he's trying to accomplish here and whether or not they'll last 121 laps in the Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim?
Hey, I think they're going to make it, Marty, but these alternators, look how small this pulley is. When the engine's turning 9,000 RPMs, the alternator's turning over 18,000 RPMs. But where a lot of guys get themselves in trouble, see how small this wire is? Everybody's weight conscientious. But the guys that tell me the great alternator stories of all time, Nelson Crozier, you've got to have this big wire running off this 160 amp alternator back to the charging system to charge the batteries properly. Guys?
Yeah, that alternator, you know, you talk about the engine, valve springs, a lot of things are really stressed in these engines, but that's one of the most highly stressed parts on these race cars is that alternator.
Reed Sorensen going underneath the 24. And here comes Regan Smith as well. Tony Stewart right behind in that group. And that is for position.
Well, if Jeff Gordon getting full power out of those batteries, his car's not handling very well because he's getting passed by a number of cars here.
Now we should point out Regan is in that group is the only car that's a lap down. In fact, he is in the lucky dog spot in 24th position. Coming off that great 12th place run last week at Auto Club. While that goes on, check in on the battle for 4th position. Denny Hamlin definitely wants to keep that 48 behind him.
Yeah, Denny been running down the bottom, but he looked in his mirror and saw Jimmie Johnson utilizing that high line, moved up to in front of him, try to take some of that clean air away from Jimmie.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the mental side. Battle for second first. We'll get back to that. Jamie McMurray and Greg Biffle going after each other.
Yeah, McMurray's got this one car on the run again here, on the move. You know, Biffle's got the 2 tires. It's working so far. He's able to steal some track position here.
Yeah, he's been doing that all night. This is the second time he's done it. Looks like it's working pretty well for him this time.
And he pulls away. And that's the guy they're chasing way up there in front, Kyle Busch. At one point, he thought he had a stuck throttle situation. We learned later something, whatever it was there, cleared up, and he's on the fly again. In the 80s, race car driver Tim Richmond lived his life the way he raced cars, and that was wide open. Richmond was flamboyant and basked in the attention of the media and the fans. It was his on-track performances that ended up drawing comparisons to racing legends, but soon his freewheeling lifestyle caught up to him. Emmy Award-winning filmmaker Rory Karpf will examine the life and tragic death of one of NASCAR's shooting stars. It's Tim Richmond, To the Limit, on ESPN Tuesday at 8 Eastern, part of ESPN Films' critically acclaimed 30 for 30, presented by Cadillac. And of course, Tim drove for Team Hendrick, as does Jeff Gordon right now. Dave, let's get an update on the 24.
You guys thought his car wasn't handling very well. Here's what Jeff thinks.
Terrible. 10-4. Take your time here. Tell me what it's doing. We still got a long ways to go. Pushing, getting in, and loose as hell on throttle. 10-4.
Now that's Steve Letarte, crew chief, talking his driver off the ledge just a little bit. Jeff thinks that even though they haven't won this year, that they are better because they are communicating better. They don't take things personally. They've improved their pit stops, and they've won the race off pit road a couple of times tonight. And oh, by the way, they don't give up. And that's what Steve's trying to preach to Jeff right now.
Yeah, that's what I really like about Steve Letarte. He's a really smart crew chief, and he's a good cheerleader. Like I said, he kind of did talk Jeff off the ledge, and you know, he's not good right now, but they do have enough time to get it right. So if he can just hang on, keep him on the lead lap, they might be able to steal some spots back here at the end.
He's 21st right now, 15 seconds behind the race lead. Let's move back to that battle for fourth right now. Greg Biffle has the spot. You can see the margin that he has over Jimmie Johnson.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin went up and passed Greg Biffle, so he's moved up into that third spot. He's moved a little ways ahead, as you can see, right on the bottom up there is Denny Hamlin.
And I wanted to get back to this, the psychology that you race car drivers have. There's Denny. What's he thinking now that he is 2 cars ahead?
Well, he's thinking he's got 10 points on him right now is really what it is, you know, and he needs to put cars between him and Jimmie Johnson to move closer in the point standings.
And if you're in Jimmy's position, are you worried about this?
No, I think if you're Jimmie right now, you're okay. Looks like he might need to make a little adjustment to his race car, but he realizes that, you know, he's ahead of most of the guys that he's racing for this championship. So he's okay. He's not losing many points right now.
Now, if he was going to panic, he would have been early in the race. He was,
yeah,
you know, running back in 30th position or 36 we saw there. So, you know, it's in a good spot right now.
If it stays the way it is right now, second and fourth, or third and fifth, I should say, the margin would be 26 points coming out of tonight. Greg Biffle is sandwiched right in between those two guys. Let's get an update on his car from Jamie Little.
Well, this team really wanted a rebound, Marty, after last week losing their motor on lap 39. After happy hour, Greg Irwin, the crew chief of Greg Biffle, told me Greg had a pep in his step, a confidence that he had about him at Kansas. Of course, they won at Kansas, so they had high expectations for tonight's race, but the car just hasn't allowed it. It has been loose all night, and that is the situation right now. Last round of stops, though, they did go for track position. To bright sides only gained a lot of position, but the 48 is breathing down his neck.
All right, Jamie, as we go on board with Jimmie Johnson, we were watching his onboard camera, and his car, I mean, the handling, it's so calm, it looks like he's just on a Sunday afternoon drive.
A lot of that's Jimmie. I mean, he knows where the limit is, and he can take it right there without stepping over it, where you have to make those corrections. And I think that's one of the things that makes him so good, is that he doesn't overdrive it even by just a little bit, where he has to make those, you know, some minor corrections to the right.
Yeah, we'll talk about Biffle again, too, as we watch Jimmie Johnson here there. But Biffle this time has been able to stay up there in the top 5. The last time they tried to tires, their car wasn't good. I think they made some adjustment, and now they've got themselves in a position that as they get back on the cycle with everybody else, they might have something for the race leader at the end of this.
Well, while this goes on, Kyle Busch continues to lead laps. He's led 141 tonight, and he's now gone over 4,000 laps led in the top 3 series this year alone.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series on ABC, brought to you by Bank of America. NASCAR fans should appreciate the speed of our ATM deposits. No deposit slip, no envelope. Quick and easy. And Goodyear, innovative technology to help you get there.
Beautiful night in Charlotte, North Carolina. A little on the chilly side. You're looking at the race for the lead in the Bank of America 500. Kyle Busch in the 18's got it. Jamie McMurray in the 1 is chipping away and slowly tracking him down.
Yeah, it looks like he is gaining on Kyle just a little bit, but boy, Kyle's done a great job tonight. He's at 147 laps, 148 laps as we currently stand. He's got himself back into the top 5 in points. If he can finish this deal off, this will be a huge shot in the arm for the 18 team and get Kyle Busch back poised to fight for that championship.
Kyle says Charlotte is his favorite track yet to win here in a Cup car, though. Got a car out of control in the grass off of turn 4. It is the 7 car of Robbie Gordon. Looks like by the damage on the right side of the car, he got into the outside wall before the grass, which is the usual pattern here. And caution is out in this race once again.
What do you got there? Hit anything?
7th time yellow's been out.
I think I hit the valence pretty hard, though.
All right, let's see what happened to Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, she's right on the bottom of the racetrack. Everything looks good right now, but he starts really closing up on Regan Smith there. Looks like he gets out of throttle, gets loose again.
Yep.
Loses all the air up against the 83 car, spins, and did a good job holding it down. Digs it up, packs that radiator full of grass and stuff. That's been really tough on these splitters this week here at Charlotte.
By the way, Robbie Gordon in a very tight fight for 35th in owner points with that 7 car. Of course, the top 35 in owner points guaranteed a starting spot in the next race. So
very crucial. Be a part of the big show. Guaranteed spot in the big show every week.
All right, so this is going to be another round of pit stops for the leaders. Remember that Kyle Busch's team has been outstanding on pit road, I'll say all night, but all season as well. And here's another chance for them to shine.
They have been the best. Yeah. No, that 11 car and 18 car, race after race. Here we go. Vince?
Well, Jamie McMurray, should be no surprise that he's running up front tonight. He finished 2nd here in May. Really likes his car. It was a little bit too loose previously, like the air pressure adjustments they made before. They talked about 2 tires or 4, decided on 4. Jamie?
Jimmie Johnson said he has tightened up even more after the wedge adjustment last time. Jack now said, I'm scared to make an adjustment, but they're going back on the wedge and track bar. Doc.
Big break for Denny Hamlin. He had a vibration that was getting worse. This caution had come in a quarter round of wedge in the car.
Leader Kyle Busch 3/8 up on the track bar to fix a car that was a little bit tight in the center. And it looks like Kyle wins that race off pit road again. Alan?
And a fight for 2nd. Hamlin's crew gets him out in the number 2 spot. Doc reported Hamlin reporting a vibration before the yellow. Jeff Gordon reporting a vibration before the yellow as well. So the caution to break for him as included in that group of guys who needed the yellow flag. 94 laps to go. Kyle Busch, your leader, back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Welcome back to the Bank of America 500 here at Charlotte, and make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. And while we've got a quick moment, let's talk about the calendar, because NASCAR Now will be coming up with a wrap-up of tonight's race, 1 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2, and the Monday Roundtable, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. And then NASCAR Nationwide Series next week at Gateway over in St. Louis, 3 o'clock Eastern next Saturday on ESPN2. And then Sprint Cup Series action will come your way from Martinsville, 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday at ESPN, with countdown starting at noon over on ESPN2. Riding on board with Tony Stewart, who is in 22nd place, and it has been a rough night for last week's winner.
Yeah, it hadn't a whole lot gone right for Tony. He gets a little bit of damage. They're having to come in and work on his car here at that first caution.
All right, here he has a miscue. He's trying to get to his pit stall. Almost runs into Carl Edwards, has to back up to get back in.
Then another problem getting in.
Yeah, his latest time in here. And we actually looked down and questioned this selection of their pit stall, because A.J. Allmendinger there makes it kind of tough when you've got a guy like that that's running that well.
Let's reset it for you. Kyle Busch, he's clinched the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. He's on the outside. Denny Hamlin, McMurray, Johnson, Biffle, Ruderman. That's your top 6. And Busch, like every other restart, is on the gas.
Yeah, and Jimmie Johnson coming out forward. It's probably going to work to his advantage this time. Goes into 2nd.
That's what we saw last night in the nationwide race, and he does come up to 2nd place, right ahead of Denny Hamlin in 3rd. Greg Biffle trying to go underneath Martin Truex.
That two-tire stop that Greg Biffle and his team did worked to their advantage. They're back on sequence with everybody here, but he's losing a couple of spots on the restart here.
Jimmy McMurray trying to get up door to door with the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
Got a race for the lead.
Here he comes, 48, Jimmie Johnson going for the race lead again.
Outside.
Heard him talk about going back on their adjustments. He's a little loose right there. Has to squeeze out of the throttle.
Kyle holds him off for this lap. We've had 17 different leaders and a total of 23 lead changes tonight. Well, things have calmed down all the way back to about 10th place as they're running single file. Then he's going to try a little higher line this time.
Well, he's just trying to get some air on the nose of his car there. He sees where the two guys in front of him are running, trying to get a little air there so he can make a run at these guys.
Looks like that 11 car has come to life right here. Looks like he's a little quicker than those two leaders.
The thing that's... Oh, look out! 31, Jeff Burton is loose. Is he going to keep it off the wall? Look out, everybody.
Caution's out, way to hang on.
Scattering, and looks like he's going to keep it in one piece.
I'm not believing that.
Wow.
Looked like he was going to total that thing. Look, he can't even see.
Yeah, there's no way he could see out of the cockpit of that car right now.
He's going to have some help.
All right, we're back rolling. I can't see in front of me. Talk to me. You're fine. Just keep on coming. Come on. You're all good. No problems at all.
He might need a little more help than that.
Starting to clear out some for him now. You can see him in there.
Did you ever have that happen to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, of course, there were times that I was glad I couldn't see anything.
Well, it'll be our 8th caution of the night now. Let's go back and see what happened to Jeff.
Oh, he cut right across in front of Clint Boyer. His teammate. It didn't look like Clint did anything wrong. It looked like Jeff may have thought he had him cleared, but he turned dead left in front of him.
Yeah, I don't know if that was information from the spotter or if Jeff just thought he had that much more speed.
Let's go on board with AJ.
Right. Stay low. Keep coming low.
That's amazing. He didn't hit anything.
Lower.
So he was just standing in the throttle to keep that thing off the wall. If he just jumped on the brakes, he's going to slide up into the wall right here.
He's just driving it off the wall with the throttle. You can see right there. What a great job he did.
And from this point on, he couldn't see a thing.
Well, that's the byproduct of standing in the throttle to keep it off the wall.
Well, as you can see, he's made the stop and heading back out onto the track, and he will be able to, I think, stay on the lead lap. We'll verify that. There's your top 5 with 87 laps to go. He was running 16th when he spun. Sprint brings you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network.
Well, I don't know what's the worst enemy, Murray's car or me. Sorry, bud. We still got a long ways to go here. Hopefully we'll get it take off a little bit better this time. Probably going to be quite a few more cautions before we get this thing over with.
Tony running 15th right now. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. Let's reset it for you. We have a total of 24 cars on the lead lap, and yes, Jeff Burton is in 24th. He managed to stay up there. Kyle Busch will restart on the outside again alongside Jimmie Johnson, Denny Hamlin, McMurray. Then in row 3, Rudiman, Truex, Martin, Harvick, Montoya, Biffle. That is your top 10. And when we come by, we'll have 84 laps to go. Green flag's out. Another great restart for the 18. Let you know that Marcus Ambrose did get the lucky dog. That gets you squared away on all the up-to-date information after the caution. Side-by-side action with Rudiman in the 56. Kevin Harvick right on the back bumper.
Well, his teammates racing each other really hard. You almost touch getting in the corner.
Yeah, it's getting time to go now. You don't want to give up anything. Under 100 laps left in this race.
Right behind Harvick was Greg Biffle. A little bit further back, there you see Mark Martin. He sort of fell off the pace for a while. Still on the lead lap, but he's running in the 10th position. Carl Edwards is a guy that we haven't talked much about. He's running 12th. There you see Carl, and he's got Juan Pablo Montoya behind him, Joey Logano right in front of him. It has not been a stellar night for the Fords. Biffle's really been the only one that's been able to get up front. He's running 7th right now, and there he is on the high side again.
Yeah, you know, something that I'll go back to, all the troubles they had last week, generally you'll see, and I know Doug Yates them had to be concerned that next week you have to back off of what you were doing a little bit to make sure that you've got things under control and you're not pushing the envelope too much.
Kevin Harvick 3rd in the chase points standings. Saw him as he is trying to track down Martin Truex and Greg Biffle, who is right in front of the 56. Let's go back up front because the battle for the lead is getting a little bit closer. Here comes Jamie McMurray back into the mix.
I really believe Jamie McMurray has the best car of any of these in the front. He just had that one bad set of tires, or just didn't agree with his car, but he is really coming on since they've taken them off.
Yeah, if he'll be patient right here and not try to press the issue too much, I believe eventually he'll pass both of these. He does have the best car. And he's pretty good at driving it too. We'll say that for sure.
Well, he's had a pretty good year this year. And let's get an update on the man that he's chasing right now for that 2nd spot. Jamie?
Well, the last round of pit stops, it was interesting how Chad Knaus said, I don't know what the car is doing and how it's getting tighter. I'm scared to touch it. He ended up making an air pressure adjustment, track bar adjustment, a wedge adjustment. And right after that, early in the run, Jimmie Johnson said there's a lot more confidence in it now. It starts off sporty. All we need now is clean air. Chad Knaus said, great job, Jimmie. I'm proud of you tonight.
And as you finish up, Jamie, we're looking at that battle for 7th as Kevin Harvick has gotten around Martin Truex. Here comes Truex, but he's not going to be able to take the position back, at least not yet.
Well, Harvick said he couldn't pass anybody earlier, so they've at least worked on this race car, and he's got himself back up in the mix again.
Behind Truex, there is Matt Kenseth. He's also trying to reel him in, and he's going underneath him. There you see as he's down into turn number 3 now, and it looks like, will he be able to clear him coming out of 4? We got to go back up front because all of a sudden, here comes the 48 for the race lead.
It's some of the fastest lap times of the night. These two leaders racing each other hard.
29.6 seconds on that last lap. Here we go on the high side with the 48. Kyle's able to hold him off for now. Top 3 cars running in the 29-second bracket. McMurray's lost a little bit of ground, though, to the 2 that are ahead of him. A little bit further back, the battle for 8th. And here comes Mark Martin to make it a 3-car battle, and maybe 4 with Joey Logano. Kenseth on the high side.
Yeah, Kenseth had passed Martin Truex. Truex trying to come back on the inside and take that spot back away. Mark Martin just looking for somewhere to go.
Back up front, about the same as it was the last lap. Johnson not able to get any closer. Jimmy's tried a little higher line that time. Let's listen in on Kyle Busch's radio.
It's like a mind reader, too. He knows exactly what line to run.
Well, earlier he was talking about Superman, and
yeah, I mean, he looks back. He sees Jimmy. He's searching for a little better line. He's just trying to find something, and that's one thing Jimmy's really good at. I mean, if he's not doing what he needs to do, he'll find a place on the racetrack that'll make him go faster. Dave?
Well, the other mind reader, maybe the 18 crew chief, or maybe he's a horsepower whisperer or something. Dave Rogers told me about this 18 car. It may not be the fastest, but it is not tweaked as far as our tuning goes. It's a very stable platform we've got this weekend. I haven't had to put a lot of wedge or track bar in it in practice, and I'll be able to tune on it in the race as you continue to watch the battle for 10th on the right-hand side of your screen. As the 18 has gotten quicker through the night, they haven't made big adjustments, just slight adjustments.
Horse whisperer?
He said horsepower.
Horsepower whisperer. Yeah. Okay. Good.
That's a new one. Great job.
That is a good one. Mark Martin's got his hands full right now with Joey Logano in that battle for 10th. Been side by side for the last couple of laps. Mark doing all he can. He's holding on to the spot right now. Right behind these two, it's Scott Speed and Carl Edwards. And there you see the margin between the top four. Denny Hamlin's 2.9 seconds back of the race lead. There is your top five as David Ruderman has been pushing his way here late in the race into the top five. ESPN's Monday Night Football has Chris Johnson and the Tennessee Titans taking on AFC South rival Jacksonville, led by Maurice Jones-Drew. Titans and the Jags, ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern. Our coverage begins at 7 Eastern. Monday Night Countdown. It's served by Applebee's. Well, back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we've got 66 laps to go, and Kyle Busch is leading Jimmie Johnson by 1.3 seconds. And if you remember, Dale Jarrett said that man right there in third, Jamie McMurray, could spoil the party. Well, let's talk about the non-chasers, and let's go up to speed with the non-chasers. Vince?
Well, he won the Daytona 500. He won the Brickyard 400. Can he pull off something here in the chase? He certainly had one of the best cars tonight. He was tight early in this run, and he was concerned about his water temperatures because he had some debris on the front end, but he sucked up into the backside of Jimmie Johnson, cleared the debris in the car much better now. The 00 of David Ruderman has had a pretty solid run tonight, and this is a guy that's had some success here at Charlotte. He was 10th last week at California, finished 5th here in May on this racetrack. Says everything they gain in 3 and 4, they're losing in turns 1 and 2. If they can get 1 and 2 together, they might have something special. Dave?
Martin Truex running in the 9th position. On the last run, he said, hey, this car finally takes off. After Jeff Burton spun on this run, Martin said, hey, the car won't take off anymore, so it's really gone the wrong direction. And he's trying to figure out how they can get it better for the end of the race. Joey Logano's running in the 10th position. He's been battling with Martin earlier, but has fallen back just a little bit. Why? That car will not turn in the center of the corner for Joey like it was earlier. Jamie?
And Mark Martin running 10th right now. He has been racy all night. They brought a brand new race car here, and they've been working aggressively on getting this set up right. In the last few weeks, they feel like the fruits of their labor are finally showing through. Had a great run last weekend. Right now, though, his car just a little bit tight as he's a little farther back than he's been, Doc.
And how about Scott Speed in the 82 car? Here's something you don't ever hear or rarely hear from a driver. Here's a couple of his quotes. Hey, guys, the car is great. 40 laps later, he said, hey, guys, the car is awesome. Love the car. He hasn't complained once tonight, and for good reason. He likes the race car. Guys, you get it? And he's hoping to be able to get his third top 10 finish of the year and his career best finish here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jamie.
And Juan Pablo Montoya running 14th right now. Statistically speaking, this is his worst racetrack. His average finish is 30th. And with that being said, they wanted to try something new. So Brian Patty threw on Jamie McMurray's setup. Well, the two don't have a similar driving style. But tonight, it's been all right. The car's kind of been all over the map, but it has been better. Snapping, but it's coming around. Now, David Reagan, third race now with crew chief Drew Blickensderfer. Tonight, he's been running in the top 15. In practice, car wasn't bad. They're making strides as the two get to know each other better. Right now, the car just a little bit tight. Doc?
Back in 16th position, A.J. Allmendinger, who started in the front four and then fell back in the early lap, saying the car just didn't feel like it had any horsepower. He has driven the car very hard. Now just complaining that the car is a tick tight. And intermittently, he will chime in and say, guys, I don't know what it is, but on the straightaways, they just pull away from me. I just can't go anywhere. Jamie.
And Reed Sorensen in the 83 had a great happy hour. Again, as I mentioned earlier, they brought a brand new race car, a new era race car here. They had a high optimism for this track. Jimmy Elledge, of course, leading the force here. They've had Reed behind the wheel. Of course, Brian Vickers out. They're hoping to have him back in Daytona. Reed will be in Gateway in the Nationwide Series next week, and they are right now seeking another driver for next weekend. Now, Regan Smith, he's had a consistent night right now, running in the 18th position. Car has been pretty good. They've been off sequence, but been working on the car. Moving forward, it's been a pretty solid night for Regan.
The 98 of Paul Menard is running 22nd. Menard fought tight most of the night. Remember, he had that very good starting position earlier. He started 5th. They had high hopes that this was going to maybe be the night they had their breakthrough performance, but they've been tight throughout the evening. They got into the wall around lap 260 or so, knocked the toe out. The car is not handling so well right now. The 47 of Marcus Ambrose. He and Frankie Kerr, the crew chief, have had their hands full. Whoa, how about that? That was a handful. They've had tight most of the night and then loose throughout the second part of the race as the temperatures have cooled. And you saw just how loose the 47 was as he came off that corner, Marty.
And we think it was the 98 that actually brushed the wall, and Ambrose is the last of the non-chasers on the lead lap in 23rd. The lucky dog position, Bobby Labonte, he is 1 lap down in 25th position. Our race leader is Kyle Busch. His lead over Jimmie Johnson is 1.8 seconds right now. And if everything holds station, the points lead would be Jimmie Johnson's by 46 over Denny Hamlin's. But we still have 56 laps to go. Does Kyle get his first Cup win at Charlotte? Stay with us to find out. Don't forget to get your official NASCAR ESPN racing apparel at NASCARSuperstore.com or go to ESPNshop.com. 50 laps to go, and the battle for second is getting good because, in fact, it's now over because Jamie McMurray has got around Jimmie Johnson, and every chase contender is cheering on that #1 car right now. But you're saying, where's the race leader? He is 3.3 seconds ahead of Jamie. Kyle Busch is just racking up the laps. He's led 195 tonight as he is looking to win his first Cup race here at Charlotte. He's run 6 times in the Nationwide Series. There he is, a couple of lap cars before we get back to the battle for second and third. One of the cars that's back out on the track. Remember earlier when the 9 of Casey Kane had an incident? Well, you notice J.J. Yaley's in the car. Let's get the update from Dave Burns.
Yeah, first of all, Yaley was the first out of the race tonight in the 36 car. After Casey was involved in a wreck on the track and brought it into the garage for repairs, he reported to his crew he didn't feel well at all. Did not feel that he should continue. And Yaley was looked up and put in the 9 car to finish out the night.
All right, Dave, thank you very much for the update. And 48 laps remaining here right now, and Yaley is in that 9 car is 38th position right now. They are 120 laps down to the race lead. How about the battle for 6? Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth, the best battle we have in the top 10 right now. And here comes Kenseth on the high side.
Yeah, we haven't heard a lot from Matt Kenseth tonight, but he's been Matt Kenseth, kind of methodically worked his way up into the top 10.
Won here in 2000 in his rookie season. Looks like he's going to take the position away, and does. So move him up to the 6th spot. Of course, he's another one of the victims from last week at Auto Club Speedway. Came home 30th. Woo, a little wiggle there. Gathered it back up. His best finish in the chase has been 7th, so this would top that performance if he can hold station. And he's pulling away from Kevin.
Yeah, Matt's cars just look like it's gotten better and better as these runs have gone on. Doesn't fall off in speed quite as much as some of the others that were running in front of him. He's taking advantage of that.
Well, while we saw Matt go around for the pass, I've been watching the lap times, and Jamie McMurray is catching Kyle Busch. Word from pit road, we're hearing maybe the 43 of A.J. Allmendinger might be down a cylinder. He is now in 22nd position, 28 seconds behind the lead.
He had been complaining about that engine, so it could be.
Vince?
That good run for David Ruderman in the 00. He says the car's still a little bit too loose. They took a ½ pound out of the right rear, 4 tires. Dave?
Yeah, the 56 of Martin Truex on pit road as well. He's been wanting to pit for a while. This car is looser than it was. It has no rear grip. Track bar and wedge adjustment for him was planned. Not sure I saw those wrenches go in, but they pit now. Their last time for the night.
13.4 seconds on that stop. We can also tell you that the 5 of Mark Martin's in, Jamie.
That's right, and he had been getting tighter. That seems to be what I'm hearing in my section of pit road. The track is tightening up. 4 tires here. Fill it up with Sunoco fuel is the call for the 5-inch.
The 31 of Jeff Burton has had his hands full throughout most of the day today, including a little bit of drama when he spun the car. It's a 4-tire change here. Chassis adjustment on the 31 as well. Now the one of Jimmie McMurray is in. It's a 4-tire stop. He said free it up if we stop under yellow, but if we stop under green, just give me what I've had. Jamie?
And the 48 of Jimmie Johnson said he's just getting tighter. It was an air pressure adjustment. 4 tires, slow pit stop there. They've been on and off. We're going to have to see how this shakes down. Dave?
Busch brings the car to pit road, as well as Jeff Gordon is on pit road. There is Gordon. They're going to make a chassis adjustment on the 24 car. Plowing and pathetic were 2 words that Jeff gave his car. Joey Logano leaves pit road. His teammate Kyle Busch, the leader, is on pit road now. They asked Kyle about 7 laps ago, Kyle, what do you need? Kyle said, nothing. They'll give him 4 tires, fill him full of Sunoco fuel, send him off of pit road, see if he can maintain that lead through this cycle of green flag pit stops. Vince?
Well, remember when we told you just a few moments ago that because Paul Menard had gotten into the wall, they were afraid it had knocked the toe out, and the car was not handling very well at all. Menard's back in. They're making that 4-tire change. Air pressure adjustment as well for the 98. Jamie.
And Juan Pablo Montoya, his car's been just a little bit snappy tonight. They're calling for right sides only. Brian Patty, crew chief, that was the call. Car has been all right tonight. Pretty good for Juan Pablo Montoya at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Going to fill it up. The 83, I know, is making their way down. 7.5, right sides only was indeed the call.
Pit stops continue to cycle through, and you can see the action still going on down on pit road. The big contenders, though, for the most part, that were running up front have made their final stop. Here comes Reed Sorensen. And let's go back to Jamie Little.
And he was credited with the lead there. 4 tires here is the call. Fill it up with gas. They are going to make a track bar adjustment, go down just a little bit to tighten him up. So a little bit different here. His car has been loose. They want to get it a little more stable out there. Good run for the 83 crew tonight. They've got to be happy about this. We've talked quite a bit about him. He's down and away. 12.7. Impressive stop there for Reed Sorensen.
And he became our 18th different leader. And guess what? A.J. Allmendinger now becomes our 19th different leader, as he is about 11 seconds ahead of Kyle Busch. But remember, he does have to make his final stop. We've had a total of 25 lead changes tonight. And here is the penalty for Jeff Gordon. We found out he was too fast entering, so it has gone
all
from
the way to the cone, Busch. All the way to the cone.
bad to worse for Jeff. 2 weeks in a row now that they've had problems like this. So he gets back out on track. A.J. Allmendinger continues to lead right now with 38 laps remaining.
Yeah, he has a lot of problems, though. He's not running down the straightaway at all.
Yeah, he's got some real problems, and so they're just going to stay out as long as they can. A lot of those cars pitted early. Almost all of them pitted earlier than they really had to, so AJ can just stay out here. I mean, there's nothing to gain or lose. He can stay out here and lead the race for a while.
Yeah, and could possibly keep himself on the lead lap here. He's out front by a good bit, so if he happens to get a caution, he might nurse this thing home with a decent finish. Doc?
Yeah, DJ, I'm not so sure the thing's going to make it, though. He's saying on the radio that we are down a cylinder, and it's sounding sicker and sicker each lap. He's going to try to hang on and lead as many as he can. They are up on the pit wall here waiting for him to come down pit road, but like you said, why come down if he can nurse it a few more laps? Because he doesn't really need to pit quite yet for about 3 or 4 more laps, but the engine doesn't sound like it's going to make it a lot more.
All right, Doc, thanks for the update. In fact, Kyle is reeling him in quickly. Remember when it was 11 seconds? It's now down to 7. And to give you an idea just how far back Kyle Busch really is, here he comes across the stripe. We have 36 laps remaining. If you've just tuned in, let's reset the whole scene for you with 36 laps to go. Kyle Busch trying to get back into the battle for the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. He's right now 6 seconds behind A.J. Allmendinger, but Allmendinger must make one more pit stop, so he will relinquish the lead, and it's going to happen right now. Behind Busch is Jamie McMurray in second, and points leader Jimmie Johnson is running in third, with the man second in the points, Denny Hamlin, running in fourth after the pit stop by A.J. Allmendinger. So Kyle, who has led a total of 203 laps tonight, picks up the bonus points. Remember, they had the blown engine last week at Auto Club Speedway, and he basically rode himself off of this chase, but a couple more nights like this, he'd be right back in.
That's what he needs. I mean, that's the only thing that's going to erase that kind of deficit is to rack up some wins.
Well, if I remember correctly, a certain guy by the name of Jimmie Johnson found himself in a very similar situation and did exactly that. Wrapped off firsts, seconds, and thirds.
Yeah, and these next 2 weeks after tonight, and of course we still have 34 laps to go. Anything can happen here in that, but these next 2 races coming up, Martinsville and Talladega, a lot of things can get shuffled there, so you're not out of anything yet.
Well, in 2006, with 5 races to go, Johnson was 7th, 146 points back. He went on to win the championship by 56.
Yeah, I think he won 4 out of the last 5 races, but you know, Kyle Busch is showing he's very capable of doing that too.
See Jamie McMurray now just trying to inch his way back up to Kyle Busch's bumper, and they made that green flag stop, and usually Kyle Busch is the best at getting on pit road and getting off and extending that lead that he has when they make green flag stops. They didn't quite do that time.
To back you up, his lead coming in was 2.7 seconds. Right now it's 1.4.
Well, there's a reason for that. They had a little hiccup on the pit stop. They didn't get the left front wheel index just quite, you know, had just a miscue there.
Let's go back and show you exactly what Andy's talking about.
Here we come in here. You see air hose, they blow all the brake dust off the left front wheel so it doesn't blow up in the tire changer's face. Come around here. See it have just a little bit of a miscue getting that tire index. Cost him a couple of seconds on the stop, and that's how Jamie got a little bit closer.
He was close to not even getting that last lug on. I mean, he was pulling out on him. But right now, Kyle Busch still leads, but the gap is now down to 1.4, as you see on, and now 1.3.
Yeah, Jamie beat him by about 1/10.5 there that last lap, and it's going to be interesting to see. They go back and forth, but it is pretty close.
Let's go 3 wide, and boy, your points leader, he's willing to take a few risks right now as Jimmie goes between Brad Keselowski and Jeff Burton. Here comes Denny Hamlin saying, well, if you can do it, I can do it too. Hamlin trying to do all he can to get back in front of Jimmie Johnson to narrow the points lead. Burton actually slides up the track. Here comes Hamlin as they go down the backstretch, and Hamlin's going to, I think he's going to get him going into 3. Can he clear him on that low line?
Yeah, I think Jeff Burton will probably let Denny Hamlin go on. And see, Hamlin, he would just desperately love to get up and pass Jimmie Johnson. That would actually make a 10-point swing if he could get up there and move ahead of Jimmie. He's losing 5 points right now. He could actually get in front of him. He could gain 5.
Watching these lap times, and Jamie McMurray has consistently been chewing away at that lead. It's down to 0.8 seconds now.
And your prediction, DJ, may be right. We may have our first non-chase winner here at Charlotte since the chase began. How about speeds at the line?
You can see it right there. I mean, it's Jamie McMurray definitely quicker. But how about Jimmie Johnson? He had the fastest lap that time.
McMurray second, and Biffle, now Ruderman third.
Yeah, I had a talk with Jamie and told him I picked the guy that wasn't in the chase to win, so it helped me out a little bit.
I bet he's remembering that now.
I'm sure he probably is. Exactly what he's thinking about as he's running.
Yeah, look at him.
Right
He's got him.
He's right on him right now.
He is right on him now.
There you go. Exactly what you guys are talking about. McMurray closing the gap on Kyle Busch with now 27 laps remaining.
Well, it's one thing to catch Kyle Busch. It's a whole nother thing to pass him. We'll see what Jamie can do with him as he gets to him.
We've got to keep in mind the last 3 races here, the longest green flag run we've had is 20 laps, so it's likely we'll have another caution before the end.
It worked last night. We were talking about it, and sure as shooting, we got inside 12 laps, and bam, we had a last-minute caution.
Yeah, both of these guys racing, they better not look up much, though. They better know that Jimmie Johnson is coming at them pretty hard.
Caution is out. 26 laps to go. We've got debris on the racetrack.
Nice going, guys.
Well, hey, I'm just reading. It's just a number.
Well. Now a little strategy there, crew chief. 2 tires?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
not coming at all.
It'd have to be 2 tires, or you'll probably see some people stay out here, too. This is what we were talking about in the start of the show. I mean, this is where there's a lot of opportunity to roll the dice, and there's some chasers right now that need to roll the dice.
There's some of the debris on the track. Let's put you in Kyle Busch's box. You got the race lead. What are you going to do?
Well, I don't want to be on Kyle Busch's box. That's the hardest decision to make.
That's why I asked you.
I'd probably come in and get 2 tires right here.
Yeah, his car's not quite as good as it was, so I think he has to look at that, certainly.
Now, I think if they don't do anything, say if everybody stayed out here, I think the one car's definitely got him beat, so they know that.
When the caution came out, you want to see what Chad Knaus did?
I'm going to say he's not going to be happy because they were
he was
coming.
running him down.
Watch. And,
yeah. And he knows he's going to have to make a decision.
Yeah, now he has to make that call, and it's not easy.
Hey, you want a little history here? Jeff Gordon got his first career win in back in '93.
Changed 2 tires.
2 tires.
600.
The call was made by Ray.
Yeah, I remember.
And guess who finished second that race?
Who?
Guy by the name of Rusty Wallace. And guess who finished 4th? Guy by the name of Dale Jarrett.
I remember that race.
Ray outsmarted all of us that night.
That's back when nobody would change 2 tires.
Ray?
Yeah, Ray, what are you going to do?
Let's get you in on this. What do you want to do here?
Oh, boy. I'm going to be telling my driver, watch your mirror. If they look like they're coming,
come on, man.
Well,
you got to make the call.
Yeah, I know, but you got to make the call based on what the other guys are going to do. The one car's got the 18 beat, so if I'm the 18, I'm hoping everybody comes because I want to work on my car. Because right now, if he doesn't do something.
Do not pit.
Well, he's
Heard
staying
that.
out. There you go.
And you see further back, there are cars that are going to pit.
Yep, David Rudeman's
the first one in. Vince?
The balance is really neutral on the 00. They're going to take right sides only for David Rudeman.
5.7 seconds. Martin Truex also in. Dave?
Worst the car has been all day, so he really wanted to stop. He got his opportunity. They'll definitely take 2 tires, make a track bar adjustment and air pressure adjustment. Jock?
Carl Edwards was going to take 2, decided to go ahead and take 4. As bad as that car has been and as much as they have struggled chasing the racetrack, why not go ahead and put 4 on it, make the air pressure changes, big swing at it, and he's down and away. Maybe it'll make a difference.
You see Clint Boyer also coming back out onto the track, so several of the chase contenders along with other drivers came in, but a lot of the front runners stayed out.
I'll tell you what, I think Chad's going to be a little happier on this restart because they're going to have, well, he's going to be on the inside, though.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin's going to be.
Denny Hamlin might be the happiest guy here.
Yeah, Hamlin's going to be in 4th position. He'll line up right behind Kyle Busch because Kyle has taken the high side every single restart.
And he'll definitely do it this time. And like I say, I think that outside lane is going to really have the advantage.
So we're going to find out who has what left, and if any of those guys that took 2 or 4 can get back up into the mix. With
almost too many of them stayed out. I'm not sure any of those guys that changed tires will get back up through there.
Well, while we've got a moment, let's talk to Jamie McMurray's crew chief.
Kevin Bono Mannion. Bono, the car was pretty good there on that long run. You were catching Kyle. How was the decision to come or stay out?
Well, it was fairly easy. Earlier we stayed out with about 10 laps on our tires, and that was about 15. So that's when we got the lead earlier. So we thought that was our best shot to stay out. And clean air is key, as you know. And we caught Kyle, but we couldn't pass him yet. So the key word there is yet. So hopefully, the 48 looked good there at the end. And just real proud of this Bass Pro Chevy tonight. Johnny Morse, I know he's sitting home watching on the couch, and wish he could be here with us. But we're looking forward to a good night.
Yeah, the one strong indeed. Thanks, Bono. Jamie?
Well, it's been an eventful night for the 48 bunch and Chad Knaus. You've had to make some daring calls here. You guys stayed out 2 tires, Chad. Do you think that's good enough for what you're seeing from the 1 and the 18?
You know, we were catching him pretty quick right there. I don't know if the 18 maybe had something going on, or if he was just starting to tighten up, or maybe he was just chilling there. I don't know what happened. But, yeah, we've got a bunch of guys behind us that stayed out. So I think it's going to be a good battle for us right here. I'm really proud of what Jimmie's done tonight. Obviously, we had a little more drama in this situation than what we wanted to, but he's done a fantastic job, and it's good to be back here in Charlotte, and hopefully we can get something exciting happening.
Chad told him, Jimmie, you got to drive your butt off. Doc?
On top here with Mike Ford here talking to Denny Hamlin a moment ago. It sounds like Denny was pretty pleased with the car. Mike, do you have something for those front 3?
What's playing to our favor right now is the long runs. Our FedEx Camry's been really good. On the backside of the runs, the short runs we haven't been as good, but we've got a few laps on our tires. Kind of different scenario than what we've seen all night. So if we get a good restart here and get out in front of these guys, I think we're going to be pretty good.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Let's check in with Dave Burns.
And check in with Dave Rogers right now. Dave, you had a long Channel 2 discussion with Kyle right there. What's he concerned about?
Well, he just asked my advice on restarts, but Kyle Busch is best in the business on restarts, so I told him he's got to do what he's got to do. Real proud of this M&M team, the way we bounced back in the last couple of weeks. Been fun to lead a lot of laps. That one car is really fast, but Kyle Busch is Kyle Busch, so we'll see what we have here.
One to go, Marty.
And while we've got a moment, if you've enjoyed what we've seen tonight, why don't you get the ticket to the race and join us, because we've got a few stops left on the tour, 5 to be exact. We'll be at Martinsville, Talladega, Texas, Phoenix, and Homestead, Miami for the season finale, the dates and the times. But all you got to do is log on to NASCAR.com/tickets or dial 866-GO-NASCAR. And if you see us around the garage area, say hi. Lights out on the pace car. Let's reset it for you. It's going to be Kyle Busch on the outside again. Right alongside will be Jamie McMurray. Row 2, Jimmie Johnson, Denny Hamlin. Biffle and Harvick in row 3. Row 4 is Joey Logano and Regan Smith. That's right, Regan's running 8th right now, and those cars stayed out from 9th on back. That's where everybody pitted. Rudiman, Kenseth, Truex, Montoya, Martin, David Reagan, Scott Speed, and Tony Stewart all the way through to the 16th position.
Ooh, boy, this is going to be good.
All right, we're going to find out who's got what, because when we come back to the stripe this time, there'll be 21 laps remaining here on a very cool, brisk autumn evening in Charlotte. And they hit the stripe, the green flag flies, and here we go.
Jamie Murray was ready for Kyle Busch on that start.
Question is, can he clear him through the corner? Because
yes,
he's got him.
He's got him cleared.
Down the backstretch.
Like Bolo said, this is when their car was the best. This very scenario where they stayed out on tires.
Finished 2nd in May. He's leading the race now, and next time by, there'll be 20 laps remaining. Behind Kyle, it is Jimmie Johnson and Denny Hamlin, then Greg Biffle. There's Kevin Harvick. Matt Kenseth on the high side of Joey Logano. Regan Smith trying to hang on to a top 10 finish.
Yeah, I think maybe Kyle Busch had gotten a little bit tight. We see a lot of battling going back on, a lot of passes trying to be made.
Montoya doesn't
have tires.
Yeah, he's going underneath Regan Smith. On board with David Rudiman. Remember, Rudiman also came in.
I was going to say, I think Kyle was getting a little tighter right before that caution came out, and being behind the one car is not helping that situation.
On board with Jimmie Johnson.
Here goes Jimmy to the inside now.
Side by side. Boy, pinned him right up against the wall.
Yeah, I think the only chance that Kyle Busch had to win was to try to come down and get 2 tires and hope a lot of cars came with him, but that didn't happen. He stayed out, and that kept a lot of cars on the track.
You see Jimmy couldn't clear him right there, though, off of 4. Kyle's able to hang on to that 2nd spot.
And Denny Hamlin says thank you.
Jamie McMurray running extremely fast lap times, down in the 29.60s last lap.
Denny Hamlin was the only other car in the 29s out of the top 20 cars.
That's with 20 laps on tires or more.
Guys are trying to drive the wheels off these things, and on board with Denny. Denny, can he reel in the 48? You heard Dale mention that's a 10-point swing if he can get around him. The 5 he gains and the 5 that Jimmy loses. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Jamie McMurray is checked out by 0.8 of a second. A little bit further back, there's some good action as side by side. You saw Kevin Harvick going along with Martin Truex. There is Jeff Gordon. He's got his hands full with the 31 of Jeff Burton. Battle for 14th on the track. There's the 33 of Clint Boyer. 56th. You got Martin Truex. Carl Edwards in this mix. Reed Sorensen.
Yeah, I've been watching these guys race. I'm not sure we've seen our last caution. They're racing extremely hard back here. Getting time down inside of 16 laps now.
Tony Stewart trying to make a move on Scott Speed there.
Tony, it has been an adventure for him from literally almost the drop of the green flag. Edwards trying to sneak underneath the 33. And he's got him. He's side by side as they head into one. Whoa, look out, Boyer's loose. He gathers it up, but he's going to lose a couple of more spots.
See Scott Speed there trying to go to the inside of his teammate, Reed Swords. And Scott's had an excellent night.
Those guys are running. It's 17th and 18th right now, and here comes Boyer after gathering it back up. He wants to try and get some of those positions back. And Tony looks like he's going to follow him. Bobby Labonte in the number 10. He is the first car 1 lap down in 22nd position.
It's a new race team Bobby's driving for, owned by his brother Terry, Billy Stavola. Pretty solid night for these guys.
A little bit further back, you see Brad Keselowski. He is 2 laps down, shown in 26th position. And then right behind Brad, the 31 of Jeff Burton. The battle for 12th right now as Carl Edwards gets around Regan Smith, so bump him back to 13th. Here comes Mark Martin.
Yeah, we saw Carl opt for 4 tires, so they wanted to work on their car and give him the best opportunities, trying to drive his way back into the top 10.
We saw a similar strategy from Regan last week. He got his best finish of the year at 12th at Auto Club Speedway. It was a good gamble, but he's slipping back right now. Since the restart, the 4 tires have proven very good for Carl Edwards. He's picked up 7 spots. He still has 12 laps to go, but he is still 8 seconds behind the race lead. Speaking of that lead, while we watch that action going on, it is 1.3 seconds from Jamie McMurray to Kyle Busch.
Been watching Jimmie Johnson. He's just trying another line now to see if he can make up some ground on Kyle Busch. He's running right up against the wall in 3 and 4 here.
Yeah, he made this work earlier in the race when he's kind of making his charge back from the back of the pack.
Ten laps remaining here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Still running right up against the wall in 1 and 2 also.
Jamie McMurray could win on 3 of the biggest tracks in the sport this year: Daytona, Indianapolis, and if he pulls this off, he gets a win in Charlotte, all in the same year. Here comes Jimmy. He's closing that gap on Kyle. 9 laps remaining.
Johnson knocks another 10th off of it.
I don't think either one has enough to catch up to McMurray at this stage. I think they're fighting for second place.
Yeah, McMurray has just consistently been quicker this run.
Denny Hamlin's not been able to do anything to reel it back into that group ahead of him.
See Jimmy change up now and go to the bottom. Pulls right up on the bumper of Kyle Busch.
On board with Jimmy.
He's just having to try to put his car where Kyle isn't to make sure that he gets some air to the nose. See if he can make a run off the corner. Loses a little bit down in 1 and 2 though.
Here he comes down the back straightaway. Pulls in again. 3 and 4 is where he has been better the last few laps.
You can see he does make up just a little ground through the middle.
Still not close enough though.
Just get a pretty good run right here. He got a good run off 4. Kind of uses that draft down the front straightaway.
Yeah, and he's already tried passing Kyle on the inside. That didn't work. It broke his momentum, and he lost quite a few.
Best car 2 days in a row. Way to go. Way to go.
I didn't quite understand everything he was saying there, but now he's giving him the inside line. Can't get it done. This time by 6 laps to go now. The battle for second between those two. They've checked out on Denny Hamlin. He's a full second behind him.
He's going to have a pretty big run coming right here.
This is the best run he's had, as close as he's been to the bumper.
If he can get to the outside of Kyle Busch here in 3 and 4.
He's going to try it. Here we go.
He might get him right here. Now look at Kyle though. He gets a good run off the corner.
Now 5 laps remaining here at Charlotte. This truly is the best battle on the racetrack right now.
See Jimmie Johnson trying really hard. He jumped back in the gas early that time to try to get it up onto the quarter panel of Kyle Busch. Car pushed a little bit and wasn't able to make it happen.
Now 4 laps remaining. Jimmie doing all he can to pick up another 5 points, and Kyle doing everything he can to keep him back there. Kyle stays up a little higher this time.
Yeah, Jimmie gets a pretty nice run this time, though. You might have to go to the inside down here in 1 and 2.
Now 3 laps remaining here at Charlotte. Jimmie's all over him.
I was wondering if Jimmie might try to stay there and try to loosen Kyle up on the entry to the corner here one time.
Down the backstretch again. Remember, 3 and 4 is where Jimmie's been the best at closing. Here he comes.
See, jump in the gas right here. See if he can drive up beside him. Now, Kyle's car's tight enough that he's really getting off the corner pretty well.
Now 2 laps remaining. Jamie McMurray's lead is almost 2 seconds. This has been the battle that we've been watching because these guys are going after each other. There you see the margin, and Denny Hamlin is in 4th place. You see him just behind the 48.
White flag this time, man. No pressure. White flag.
No pressure, the key words there, with 1.5 miles to go for Jamie McMurray. He started 27th while this battle for second continues. McMurray, this could be the biggest comeback from the worst starting position in the fall race ever here at Charlotte. What a job by this one team.
And you are clear. Congratulations, Stewart.
Jamie McMurray's your winner, and Kyle holds off Jimmie for 2nd place. Denny Hamlin comes home 4th, Greg Biffle in 5th, then Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, David Ruderman, and David Reagan round out your top 10.
Pit stops tonight. Good adjustments, guys. Great job. Great job.
His 3rd win of 2010.
Oh, here comes Jim McMurray.
He wins the Daytona 500, the Brickyard 400, and now here in Charlotte. Let's send it down to Jamie Little with Jamie McMurray's. That's a lot of Jamies.
That's right, Jim McMurray. Remember back at the Daytona 500 when Jamie won? His dad had left early. He is here to witness it, Jim. What is this moment like?
Well, you know, every time he wins, it's great, but I've missed the last 2. I missed Daytona and the Brickyard, even though I was at Daytona, but I'm here for this one. I love it.
Get down to victory lane. All right. Let him go celebrate with the team, Marty.
All right, that's great.
T-shirt sales going out the roof right now.
That's Keith Barnwell, the spotter on the roof for Jamie.
Jamie's 6th career win in his 289th start.
Oh, what a fantastic season he's had. You know, he wasn't even sure this time last year where he was going, what he was going to do. Chip Ganassi welcomed him back over, and as he made the most of this opportunity. Wow.
Well, you called it, DJ. You said he was going to do it. He's the first non-chaser to win here at Charlotte since the chase races began.
How do you know that, Star?
Oh, yeah. It's brilliant, you know. Yeah. I mean, he finished 2nd here in the 600. He's proven before his 2nd race in the Cup Series, he won here.
A great win by Jamie McMurray. And we remember last year when there was a period of time where everybody was wondering where was this guy going to drive. And
yeah, he really didn't have this deal sewn up till late in the year.
It's just sometimes as a driver, you find yourself searching and wondering what's going to happen with your career, and things just fall into place for you. But then you have to go out and make the most of that opportunity. A lot of us have been in that position before, and Jamie McMurray is doing that this year in 2010.
32 chase races. 30 of them have been won by people involved in the chase. The other 2 have been won by the guy you're looking at right now. Jamie McMurray won at Talladega back in '09, and he does it again tonight. And you remember talking earlier about that race for the 13th position? Well, he now has a 75-point lead over the 39 of Ryan Newman. Doc?
Jimmie Johnson climbing out of his Chevy. Jimmie, how in the world do you go from a car that's a handful and spinning on lap 34 to be in contention to win this thing?
Just couldn't give up. You know, I hate that I spun out. I'm kind of proud of the fact I didn't hit anything because I did a lot of driving out the side and in reverse and turning the wheel and a bunch of stuff trying to keep it off the fence. But we just never gave up on it tonight. We knew that the track would come to us. It was just getting to that point, and unfortunately I lost it, but luckily I didn't hit anything. But I'm just so proud of the Slows team. These guys are working so hard. You know, we did what we needed to tonight and got a great finish out of it.
Looked like you were using the whole racetrack in his final 5 or 10 laps trying to get by Kyle Busch.
Yeah, you know, I had a lot of fun racing with Kyle. I knew that I could race him really hard, and we wouldn't get into a situation where we'd have a problem. And he ran his lane, I ran mine, and we really weren't, you know, it wasn't mirror driving me, and I wasn't trying to side draft him and screw him up or get in there and pack Aaron or turn him around. We just really raced hard for that, you know, that second spot, and he edged me out.
A great job tonight.
Awesome, thank you.
Jimmie Johnson. Dave?
Kyle Busch finished second. He was able to hold off Jimmie Johnson. Ultimately, Kyle, why did Jamie McMurray get away from you?
Looked like he was faster than me, so he beat us. Nothing to it but that, you know, just didn't quite have it at the end. Gave it up 2 nights in a row.
Tough night for you. Coach had a long discussion with you. Is it able to put this in perspective at all?
No, nobody can put it in perspective right now. It's very, very disappointing. Just had the best car all night and gave it up, you know, just flat out gave it away. And it's real, real frustrating to not come out of here with a win at a track that I have yet to win at, that have been so fast at. And again, tonight was really fast. So I'm sorry to all the guys. I mean, everybody at Joe Gibbs Racing, all the guys in the engine shop, chassis shop. I mean, it's my job to come out here and get a win for these guys. And I'm the one behind the wheel, ultimately didn't make the right adjustments or gave it up.
All right, he led the most tonight, gave it all he had, Jamie.
And his teammate Denny Hamlin, well, he went through a litany of changes in practice. You were pretty happy at the end of happy hour, Denny. How would you sum up tonight?
It was a battle. I mean, you know, we were stuck from like 3rd to 5th all day and just couldn't get it quite right. There's some stuff that we put in our car that, you know, we just needed to fine tune a little bit. We just didn't have enough time to work on it during practice, but I think we have a good direction from here on out, and we kept them in our sights, but that's all we could do. We just we're a little bit off today, but you know, it's important that we get solid top 5 finishes like this.
All right, 41 points behind Jimmie Johnson. He heads to Martinsville, a place he's pretty good at. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. So as the fans begin to file out and the celebration begins to wind up in Victory Lane in Charlotte Motor Speedway. What a year 2010 has been for Jamie McMurray. I guess you'd call it a career year.
It's a fantastic year for him, and nothing's a surprise that he won this race. I mean, look here, wins the Brickyard 400, wins the Daytona 500. Just this fantastic team at Chip Ganassi with Felix Sabates. A great run.
And now tonight here at Charlotte, outruns Jimmie Johnson and Kyle Busch in the late going of this race to score his 3rd win of the season and his 2nd here at this racetrack. And now McMurray heads to Victory Lane to celebrate, Vince.
They were so disappointed that they did not make the chase. They felt they were a chase caliber team. They didn't make the chase as one of those 12 drivers, but they win a race in the chase as Jamie McMurray gets hugs from those special family members. And your dad said he wasn't able to be here to see you take the checkered flag at Daytona or the Brickyard, but he was here tonight. What's that mean to you?
Well, it's very special. My dad and I we're really good friends, and he certainly is what got me involved in racing, and we still race go-karts together, fish together, we do all kinds of stuff together. So he's really one of my best friends, and so it's important to have him here. I want to say hi to the Mule family, though. Shane Mule had a terrible racing accident, and our whole team is thinking about him, and certainly would like to dedicate our victory tonight to Shane Mule and the whole Mule family. I wish Steve could have been here. He's a huge part of our success.
Proud of you.
Hey, thanks, Biff. I appreciate it, man. That's unreal nice year. Thanks, Greg. But we just had a really good car there. I also want to take the time to explain something. As those laps were winding down, I was thinking about Daytona and crying in Victory Lane, and I don't know that I ever really got to explain that to, you know, why I cried and kind of what was going on there. And you know, I had a tough year last year, and I found out the power of prayer and what that can do for you. And so when you get to victory lane and you get to experience this, it makes you a believer, and it's something that it's obviously very important to me and my family, and man. It's just the stuff that I was thinking about, and honestly, it made the laps go by really quick at the end. So certainly, just thanks to God and everything that He's blessed my family and I with. And I was on the phone with Johnny Morris from Bass Pro Shops there. We've had a really good year. McDonald's, Coca-Cola, everybody that's been a part of this. And I talked to Chip, earlier today, and we were discussing sponsorship and where this organization was a year ago, and how far we've come, and to be in victory lane 4 times this year, and to have both cars run as well as they do, and to have the support we do from Target and all these sponsors now, it's incredible, and I just feel very blessed to be a part of it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
He took the lead on the restart on 20 to go, Alan, and took it home the rest of the way. A very emotional victory for Jamie McMurray.
And where the championship is concerned, Vince, thank you. Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart slipped back quite a bit tonight.
Well, they did. Jimmie Johnson, like I say, incrementally increased his lead, but what a great race for Jamie McMurray. So great year for that young man.
It just continues to show the strength of the 48 car. Here he is, 30 laps into the race. He's turned around backwards.
Yep.
We almost gave up on him, right back in 3rd position.
Next week, 2 races in 2 different cities. The Nationwide Series in St. Louis at Gateway to race on Saturday at 3 Eastern on ESPN2. And the next race in the chase is for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Martinsville, Virginia, the little old bull ring. That is a week from tomorrow, 1 Eastern on ESPN with Countdown starting at noon on ESPN2. Jamie McMurray is your winner on a Saturday night in Charlotte, North Carolina.